Well, that was a cluster of failure and pain, and yeah, we're screwed. Turbo screwed. Hey, Captain. You just killed thousands of your own people.
Despite the extraordinary efforts of you and many others, our operation was a failure. We're still totaling up the casualties, but the cost was too great. The Heralds still stand. They have lost one Iconian, but if anything, that will only prolong the conflict. Defeating Matara was a combination of the sacrifice of Guroth and many others, your quick thinking and martial prowess, and the Iconians' arrogance. Matara did not believe an Iconian could die. The others will not make the same mistake.
We had to take that risk.
Indeed, but that is a small comfort to the warriors who have entered Tovakor this day. Those of us who remain will mourn, and then we survive another day.
Thank you, Brigwin. I have put that towards Diablo 1. Tovakor is functionally heaven, yes. It's pretty much the solution here. Let's all get ourselves killed properly so we go to heaven. And then we win.
I don't think we have a choice now. We have to complete the Krenim device. Captain Cogran wants it online immediately, but this isn't something we can rush. Cutting corners with temporal mechanics? That's how you end up with unsolvable time paradoxes. Look, I'll do whatever I can, but I'm scared of this technology. Building it will be the greatest challenge of my career, but actually altering time? I'm not sure anyone should have that much power.
Yeah, well, here we are.
I want to personally commend you. Whatever success we had in this mission was thanks to you. The Iconians have lost their leader. Their unity is broken. That might give us an opening to end this war. The cost, though, all those people, I can't help but feel that I failed them.
You can't blame yourself. I mean, you can. Okay, I thought there was another cutscene here. We could have just done this last time. Whatever. My bad. Jazz music.
Our losses were great today, and we will mourn for every hero who died defending their galaxy. I am a warrior. I believe in honorable combat, direct tactics, and looking my enemy in the eye. Although you did manage to destroy Matara and break the unity of the Iconians, I now see that we cannot use traditional combat to defeat them. Captain Nog and his team will continue their work on the weapon. It may be our only option.
Yeah, you heard him. We can't win conventionally, so... That's a weird thought, Mike Kamano. And admittedly, I have no idea how that could work, but at the same time, time travel doesn't exist in real life, so whatever. Speed of which, let's start the mission. Butterfly.
The research teams in the Kiana system require your assistance. They have been running thousands of temporal incursion simulations of how to use the Krenim weapon. But I need an officer with field experience to evaluate the project and its feasibility. You will participate in a focus test of the most promising options. A blade cuts both ways. We must be sure that what this weapon can do to the Iconians does not cause greater harm to us.
Hi, Ross. Do me a favor. Be here for the next 2 episodes. You're not going to want to miss this. So there's the time ship. Nice ship.
Welcome. We have been working with the Krenim to build both this facility and a weapon similar to the one developed by Anarax in the 22nd century. Captain Nog is running point for the Alliance, but teams from all across the Alpha and Beta quadrants are involved with the research. It's fascinating work, but there's a lot to do yet.
How can I help?
Captain Nog might be able to explain more. He's waiting for you.
By the way, it is good to see you, Adrana.
It's good to see you too. For a few weeks, I was helping the Alliance research new ways to deactivate Iconian gateways. We were making progress, but it wasn't fast enough to stop the advance of the Heralds. After Captain Nog made contact with the Krenim, I asked to transfer here. Now I'm working with interdimensional resonance harmonics to help recreate Anorax's work.
Have you having any better chance sleeping?
Yes, I have. I guess the Solanae aren't visiting me at night anymore. Or maybe it's the 14-hour days trying to wrap my brain around complex temporal equations that are wearing me out. Either way, my sleep is greatly improved. Thank you for asking.
It is good to see you again.
Welcome. Captain Nog might be able to explain more. He's waiting for you.
So, what we're about to have happen is actually an extraordinarily important event in Star Trek Online history. And as is typical for STO, they don't emphasize it, honestly, the way it probably should be. You know how scenes sometimes don't have the impact or strength they should because of presentation? Similar problem. Don't worry, I'll talk about it. I did during the lore run, too. Oh, hey, who's this Yahoo? Noya.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances. We've managed to make a prototype of the Krenim weapon in Anorax's records, but we have not attempted to use it yet. Time isn't something you mess around with, so we have been conducting simulations here of possible incursions, as well as developing new ways to protect and store data on various timelines.
What about just removing the Iconians from the time stream?
That was the first simulation we tried. The results were fairly catastrophic.
Of course they were. That's a goddamn stupid idea.
Without the Iconians, the first development of warp technology by other cultures in the Alpha Quadrant is severely delayed, by about 50,000 years. Removing the Iconians would change everything we know.
Yet removing the Iconians, remember, the way this weapon works is it removes them retroactively, so they never existed, would so fundamentally change everything everywhere that it's kind of hard to even... It would essentially be rewriting the whole setting. It would be a new setting. It wouldn't be Star Trek anymore.
Let me put it this way. In one version, the Day Ones eventually rise to power and conquer most of the Beta Quadrant. They are forced back by the Vulcans, who never embrace logic, and later enslave much of what is now Federation and Klingon space.
Cool.
I'm not done yet. The Herc never developed warp technology at all, so they never invade Kronos and unite the Klingons as a warrior culture. When the Vulcan Star Empire finds the Klingons in the 22nd century, they were mostly farmers who had made some advances in epic poetry. By the present day in this simulation, the Vulcan Star Empire is locked in a to-the-death struggle with the Dominion.
Yeah, apparently I'm a moron.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances. We've managed to make a prototype of the Krenim weapon in Anorax's records, but we have not attempted to use it yet. Time isn't something you mess around with, so we have been conducting simulations here of possible incursions, as well as developing new ways to protect and store data on various timelines.
So, do you have any idea on when to make a temporal incursion?
We've tried a different number of scenarios, but only in the holodeck. Direct action against the Iconians is proving to be problematic, because so much time has passed since they were first a great power. Incursions that far back in time must be carefully planned, or the fallout of even minor changes can ripple across reality. We have, however, seen some promise in trying to delay their arrival.
But that's just delaying the inevitable.
Actually, it would be closer to a 700-year delay if our calculations are correct. The Iconians have had 200,000 years to build their fleets, but we're catching up to them. We've already seen what the 29th century technology can do. Imagine what we'll have in the 32nd century.
An interesting idea, but extremely flawed on every level. Also, why aren't the future us who have that technology helping us now when we... Look, let's not get into it.
Exactly. The other potential solution is to cut into the current power base. What if the Iconians never allied with the Alachi or the Solanae? We wouldn't be facing the trouble we do now.
What's your best scenarios?
The three most promising incursions each follow one of these tactics. My teams have been running simulations and refining their targets, but I'd like you to assist them using a special quantum recursive algorithm. Our simulators can run the outcome of a possible incursion on the holodeck. Interacting with that simulation will give us more data than just crunching the numbers. We need to really interact with it to see what reality would look like, and for that, I need someone like you with field experience.
Okay, so that's a load of nonsense. This is actually one of the dumbest possible ways you could test for this. What's actually happening here is they had a cool mission idea, and they wanted you to run some holodeck scenarios on, let's call it what it is, what-if scenarios. They wanted to do a few Elseworlds, and just kind of play with the concept. So let's go do a couple of what-ifs, shall we?
Hello. Please allow me to explain what we're doing here. We've determined that if we remove a specific series of stars from the Beta Quadrant in the distant past, a rogue planet will enter the Iconia system and cause massive geological damage at about the same time the planet was bombarded by the Iconians' enemies. The technological buildup of the orbital bombardment that destroyed the Iconian civilization will still happen, but the Iconians themselves will have to deal with a natural disaster, not a war.
Anything that's better.
Maybe the survivors of a natural disaster, if there are any, won't be so vengeful, and none of the stars we will remove have planets with the possibility of developing life. The overall effect on the galaxy is minimal. It's a painful path, but it could be the one that leads to peace.
You remember how we talked about how horrific it would be to remove a star? We're about to remove several stars. So...
The number of stars we will have to remove is a concern, which is why we're trying this in a simulation first. But as Captain Nog said, these simulations aren't perfect, so we have devised a holodeck program that will expand and extrapolate on possible effects of the temporal incursion.
I like the line here because it's absolutely true. You're giving a lot of weight to the holodeck. Because remember, the holodeck is just a simulation. It can only ever do what it's programmed to. It is literally a program. It is not omniscient. It cannot actually tell you what the results will be, only predict them in the exact same manner. If I walked up right to you right now and I said, okay, you kill Hitler right out of art school, what happens? Whatever you come up with is basically what the holodeck's doing. The only difference is the holodeck has more data fed into it, but I mean, just take something you know very, very well, and then throw a what-if into that scenario you know very, very well, and that's what you're getting here.
It's the best option we have available to us. The holodeck's algorithms have been updated to change and adapt to the data created by the simulated timeline alteration. This is not your average holo novel.
Yeah, it is.
Once we run the program, you'll be able to interact with our best approximation of the new timeline. Interaction with the holodeck components will allow the program to generate a more in-depth solution and give us a better idea of what to expect. We have set this simulation on a Federation starship patrolling the Sol system, and you are the captain. If all goes as planned, we expect that almost everything in the system should be close to current reality.
Would this be a good time to mention that nobody even is bringing up the fact that if we do this, what we are doing is, in every way that matters, killing everybody who is currently alive and effectively replacing them with whoever else would be born under substantially different circumstances? I get that they're desperate, and I do know where they're going with this whole thing. Obviously. But y'all are high.
Hello.
Yeah, bye. You got nothing for me. So, now they got all the whinging out of the way, because this is just a load of nonsense. Let's go ahead and jump into the what-ifs. Okay. Cool. Yep. Everything's going fine.
Captain, you're alive! We repelled the intruders on the bridge, but the ship has taken heavy damage, and a lot of the crew are injured.
What's the situation?
Sir, I'm not sure this is the time. So many people are hurt, and most of the systems are offline. The life support is on backups, and our resources are down to nothing, and...
I'll help the wounded.
The Dominion stopped firing at us when we lost weapons. Now they're focusing on Earth's defense grid, but it's only a matter of time before they return to finish us off.
Alright, I'll stabilize the crew and fight back.
Sir, I tried to fight them off, but the boarding parties, the Jem'Hadar, we have to stop the Dominion. They can't take Earth too.
Don't worry, we'll stop them.
We can't stop them. Maybe if we hadn't been at war with the Romulans. Maybe if the Klingons hadn't ripped themselves apart. I'll be fine, Captain. just rattled.
Okay, I should probably mention that that is actually an example of good writing and bad writing back to back. Good writing. We can't let them take Earth too. As well. That's all you need to say there. That implies so much, and it's a very natural, smooth thing to say that someone would actually say in universe in this moment, right? Bad writing. If only these events that happened hadn't happened. Clumsy exposition.
I never expected they would get so far into our defenses. I'm sorry, Captain. I just need a moment. Then I'll be ready to fight.
Whenever you're ready.
Incoming hail!
I guess I'll answer that.
USS Ajax. Sensors show your ship is completely defenseless, and I would prefer not to delay our arrival at Earth to deal with such a minor annoyance. Surrender now, and I will guarantee the safety of your crew.
We will never surrender. We'll die, but we'll never surrender. Let's see. Quadrant casualty report. Betazoid, taken, 3 billion dead. Tellar Prime, taken, 2.5 billion dead. Vulcan, uninhabitable, 9.4 billion dead. Captain's personal log. We haven't seen the bulk of the enemy fleet in 3 days, but their scouts continue to harass us. Vulcan is lost, Andoria's in flames. Romulus, Tellar Prime, Betazoid, Trill are all ashes. If the Romulans had joined us, maybe this would have been different. The Klingons barely had enough ships to patrol their home system. They weren't a threat anymore. We were offering friendship, but the Romulans refused us. Then the Dominion came and took everything. No Iconian activity in the immediate area. Okay. Well, I'm gonna chalk that one up to a no.
Sorry, we were watching from the control room, and that could have gone better. Even with all that, the simulation data on whether the Iconians were entirely eliminated from that timeline is inconclusive. We were able to record your interactions, and we've been able to piece together what happened from those.
So what'd you find?
From what we can piece together, the Klingon Empire was never unified by its conflicts against outsiders, and the great houses turned on one another instead. The Romulans took the chaos as an opportunity to attack. The Federation stepped in to help the Klingons, and the war between the three factions basically ripped the quadrant apart. The Dominion then conquered all three weakened powers.
Yeah, let's name that plan Operation Dumbass. After its creator, Alpha Team Leader Dumbass.
Agreed. My team will continue working on other possible incursion scenarios.
Right. What about you, Mr. What was your name? Noya?
Another one of you Voyagers? I don't know how you can help, but very well. My team is working on scenarios that reduce the Iconian power base. We're attempting to do so by fixing a mistake that Janeway allowed to happen decades ago. We're going to stop the Vaadwaur from being rediscovered. We plan to do this by preventing Voyager from ever coming into contact with underspace. This will prevent them from finding Vaadwaur Prime, and 7 of 9 will never wake the Vaadwaur.
I mean, first of all, I don't know what you mean by Voyager. I've never served on that ship.
No, but you're all the same. You come to our quadrant, meddle in affairs that don't concern you and that you don't understand, and leave chaos in your wake. Now, you want us to help you alter time. Tell me, does that sound like something someone like you should be doing?
I like him. He's a cool dude. I'm not sure that power should be in your hands either, Noya.
None of us are going to survive if we don't try to repair the damage you've already done. The goal is to cause a solar flare that will force Voyager to divert from the course it was on when it stumbled into underspace. If it safely passes without entering underspace, it can continue on its trip home and bypass the Vaadwaur entirely.
I guess it might work.
The simulation is set for the USS Voyager, which is fitting since they caused the problem in the first place. Our projections show that even if the Vaadwaur never return, your people will still find a reason to stick your noses into our business. So, we're attempting to see how the elimination of the Vaadwaur will change the formation of the Delta Alliance. You will be a member of the diplomatic team.
Okay. Alright. I've been sitting on this for literally weeks. See, this is researcher Clouda. This is one of the most brilliant things STO has ever done.
Don't mind Noi. I think he partially blames people from your quadrant for some of the Krennin's troubles. After all, if Voyager hadn't restored the Vaadwaur, they would have never been in a position to ally with the Iconians. But there is no reason to dwell on past hurts. We're trying to fix what we can here, and then learn to accept the rest. Noi funnels that passion to help his people into his work. Perhaps it will change everything.
Thank you for your honesty.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Both Captain Nog and Seven speak highly of you.
I'm sorry, I don't think I've seen your species before.
My name is Claudia, and I am a Tutarian. We're from a region of the Delta Quadrant Voyager never visited, so we haven't had much contact with species from the Alpha and Beta quadrants until now. However, my world has had close ties with the Krenim for several years. Now that they are actively pursuing temporal technology, I chose to join them and lend whatever assistance I can. I miss my home, but I've made a new one here. Meeting Noi has opened me up to a world beyond my own. It is a pleasure to meet you. Both Captain Nog and Seven speak highly of you.
I'm sorry, what do you do here?
I was on Kiana Prime with Noi when we received word of the Vaadwaur attacks. We had only hours to get the temporal equipment running and remove the population from the time stream. Since then, the focus of my work has been developing more stable data storage. We can see into other timelines, but we need a way to secure the data through temporal shifts so we can preserve information about incursions and their effects. In the case of a catastrophic shift, that data could be used as a map to restore the timeline.
If that sounds familiar, it should. That's what Anorax was actually working on.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Noya doesn't seem to like me much.
Don't mind Noi. I think he partially blames people from your quadrant for some of the Krennin's troubles. After all, if Voyager hadn't restored the Vaadwaur, they would have never been in a position.
Okay, so
it is
nothing.
A pleasure to meet you. Both Captain Nog and Seven speak highly of you.
All right. Let's try the next one here. All right, so see a lot of people arguing with each other. That's good.
This is an absolute disaster. I had thought that Admiral Tuvok was being pessimistic about the chance for success here, but now I think he was right.
I mean, making an alliance isn't a quick process.
No, it's not. The hierarchy started setting these people against one another before Admiral Tuvok and his team could start to pull them together. The very fact that they all agreed to be in the same room is a minor miracle.
Do you think you can bring them together?
Eventually. Between Vulcan logic, Klingon tenacity, and Romulan pragmatism, we'll convince everyone here that the threat is real, and an alliance is in their best interest. But it won't be easy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I see I have another argument to break up.
Good luck, Ambassador. Real quick, can I derail for just a second? So we're in a holodeck simulation of the attempt to make the Delta Alliance back in the previous arc, right? So, how many of you have ever seen tassing or speed running? I'm just going to jump ahead. One of the things that you can do in some specific games is like a cutscene will happen, and you can gain control of the game during the cutscene. Now, this only applies to certain games, and it's usually either very difficult to pull off or impossible for a human to pull off. But you can do it. One of my favorite little tricks, and I'm not going to spoil, but is like, let's say there's a game where you have a flashback, but then you can actually take control of the game in the flashback, during which certain flags are set wrong because they're set for the flashback. So while you're in the flashback, you're actually playing the game and can either bypass events or, effectively rewrite events. What's the relevance? Wouldn't that be a messed up thing if that was happening in lore? Imagine we hop into this holodeck and we're seeing this recreation of the past, and we, like, use within the holodeck, we, like, leave and go change reality from within the flashback, effectively. It's like, alright. And everyone's just like, huh? Like, we go into the magic meeting room, and it's the magic meeting room, so we can do whatever we want in here. That's what actually made me think about that.
We've always tried to be good neighbors and treat other races with respect, but this is really too much. The Malon are using our system as a dump, and their trash isn't our problem.
But what do you think about the hierarchy becoming more aggressive?
The Malon claim the hierarchy are harassing them, but they're targeting our ships too. So I don't know what to believe, but there are rumors, traitor talk, you know how it is. But I've heard it a lot lately. They say the hierarchy are capturing people and selling them to another race for experiments or as food.
Do you think it's true?
We've always tried to be good neighbors and treat... The Malon might not be the biggest threat, but they are the most immediate. Wait until they start dumping their trash in your front yard and see how you like it.
Are you here to preach about responsible waste management too? You can save it. I have a commitment to my people and my planet that supersedes any other concerns.
What do you think of the hierarchy?
I don't want to talk about the hierarchy. They're nothing but trouble. That's part of the reason we're looking for new dumping grounds. I've lost too many ships in the past year. Half a generation of valuable and desperately needed haulers. They're just gone. And I know the hierarchy is to blame. We don't need outsiders telling us what to do. If the Talaxians want to talk, they can come to us directly.
But she's right there, dude. Staring you in the face. Hang on, let me access the computer here. What do we got here? The Malon have resisted attempts to intercede lest hazardous weight management practices and continue dumping throughout the quadrant. The most at-risk population are the Talaxians, who have a new colony close to a dumping grounds. The Malon have moved into Talaxian space to avoid hierarchy attacks. Diplomatic relations between the Malon and the Talaxians are rapidly deteriorating. The Malon have accused the Talaxians of working with the hierarchy, a charge the Talaxians strenuously deny. The Benthans could pressure the Malon to return to the negotiation table. Well, let's try that.
Yes, what is your question? I am rather busy. The Hazari are stepping up their smuggling operations, and the hierarchy's new drive for profits has created a significant increase in attacks on unaligned transports.
But what's going on with the hierarchy?
The hierarchy's surveillance measures are the best in the quadrant, and that's left us more exposed than I would like. We're losing ships. Once or twice we found debris with hierarchy weapon signatures, but they're cautious. It's like they can smell traps. Yes, what is your question? I am rather busy. The Hazari...
Would the Benthans be willing to assist the Talaxians in their negotiations with the Malon?
We have enough to do at the moment without getting into a dispute that doesn't concern us. The hierarchy is harassing our supply lines, and I'm convinced they're behind the losses we've taken over the past 3 months. We're having to double up patrols, which means we're leaving holes the Hazari can slip through. The Malon are a headache we don't need.
I've personally found that if you work with allies, it usually helps bring about positive results.
Yes, good luck with that. The Hazari aren't interested in anything but making deals. This whole meeting is just a waste of time. Unity might work where you come from, but I don't have any reason to cooperate with criminals like the Hazari or thugs like the hierarchy.
What do you mean where I come from? Okay, whatever.
What do you want? Did the Benthans make you one of their little deputies? Or was it the Malon? Before everyone broke ties with the hierarchy, they told us what people say about us. Mercenaries. Honorless. Ha! They all deny it, but we know. Now we look out for ourselves.
Are you all cartoon characters?
Troublemakers. They make our jobs harder and easier. They watch everyone. We used to trade for information from them, but now they won't sell. If we can capture one of their ships, it's like a treasure hoard of information. Makes hunting bounties real easy. But it's harder to take out their ships. I hear they're getting upgrades. And it's not just their ships. Stories going around about one captain whose arm was ripped off by a hierarchy commander. Used to be they'd run from fights. Now they start them.
That doesn't really sound like a hierarchy to me. Would you be willing to pull out of Bentham space?
No. We need to make a living, same as the rest of you. If the Benthans would take out the hierarchy on our borders, we wouldn't be forced to move into Benthan space. But no, they won't do that. They don't think mercenaries rate protection.
Are you stupid?
What do you... Did the Benthans make you? Fine. Run back to the Benthans. I'll be here if you want to talk business.
Well, this is going swimmingly. All these people are so stupid. They all have issues with the hierarchy. So naturally, none of them are willing to interact with anybody because of the hierarchy, which...
Unraveling this mess could take months, years.
Or 5 seconds in a newspaper. Whap! Hang on. Quadrant threat. Number of planets the hierarchy has taken outright has increased 20% over the past 6 months. A push for higher profits has prompted steady growth of hierarchy territory. Reports of abductions in areas near hierarchy space have increased by 77.2%. However, this data has not been confirmed by outside sources because the Delta Quadrant species are not willing to share information with the Federation.
Ambassador's log, stardate 87234.5. Our allies in the Kiana system have been invaded by hierarchy forces. The Kiana colony is a small farming community with no strategic value, so the attack simply doesn't make sense. According to one survivor we managed to find, the hierarchy were working with the Ilachi. The Ilachi took captives to an unknown location.
And we know what the Ilachi need people for. Long-range sensors are detecting both Herald and Iconian readings. While they don't appear to be in active conflict with Alliance forces, there's more ships than normal. There are both Herald and Iconian signals in hierarchy space. It appears the Heralds may be using that area as a staging grounds for a coordinated attack with the hierarchy and high-value targets throughout the Delta Quadrant. Cross-checking shows a similar situation in Alpha and Beta. Yeah, that one's also a no. Put that in the nope category. Not as bad as the last one, but still probably nope-worthy.
Damn, that was useless. The Iconians were so determined to have a hold here that they simply found another species to fit the bill. Maybe if you had been a better negotiator, you would have been able to unite those representatives against the hierarchy. Then, at least we would have had a chance.
Listen. I'm gonna need you to take that giant boot out of your butt.
This scenario isn't as catastrophic as trying to remove the Iconians, but it's not exactly ideal either. We'll have to try something else.
Yeah.
You must excuse my husband's harsh demeanor. This has been a very trying time for the Krenim. Thank you for helping us get this far. We'll keep working.
Thank you, Clouda.
Trust my wife to be the voice of reason. Perhaps I was too hard on you. I just want to be able to fix all of this. We can't turn back time, but we can change it. Please speak to Gamma Team. Captain Nog thinks very highly of their plan.
Thank you, Naya. And sorry about the harsh comments. It's been a day, you know.
Hello. We've been waiting for you. Our team is focusing on delaying tactics. What if Iconia had never been discovered? In 2365, Captain Donald Varley of the USS Yamato found a star chart on Denias 3 that revealed the location of Iconia. I want to redirect a meteor to impact the archaeological site on Denias 3 before Captain Varley begins his excavations. Iconia will remain a myth, and we will not attract the Iconians' attention as early as we did.
But that's just another delay. We found another gateway just a few years later.
True. But if you compare the changes in Iconian technology over the past 200,000 years, With what the rest of us have done in the past 2 centuries, it's obvious that the Iconian culture has stagnated while we have advanced rapidly. Additionally, there are other factors in play that could trigger the alliances and sharing of technology that have come about because of the Iconian threat. It's a risk, but it's one that could pay off.
Sure.
The program is set for Romulan space. Because the Hobus supernova was caused by direct Iconian interference, we expect Romulus to be intact in this new reality. As such, the Romulan Star Empire should once again be a major power in the quadrant. Your role will be as an officer on a Romulan warbird.
So we're restoring the Star Empire.
Yes, to call it a huge change would be an understatement. Please be aware that nothing will be done unless the Republic agrees this is the best possible solution. There is already a team here working on the possible restoration of Romulus, and Commander Jirak has been authorized to speak for the Republic if needed. The fact that our data shows delaying the Iconian arrival will also save Romulus is an interesting coincidence, but it does not mean we will accept the solution without looking at other options. The program is set for Romulan space. Because the Hobus supernova was caused by direct Iconian interference...
Yeah, that's right. This will get rid of the Kelvin timeline.
...be intact in this new reality.
Now, you know the really funny part? Shut up. The really funny part is none of them are currently aware of the fact that the Kelvin timeline even exists. So as a consequence, this would erase a timeline that nobody knows is even there. Alright, let's go talk to Commander Tamer, who is somewhere. Why am I on a scimitar? Ugh, Riemann bridges.
Ah, Sub-Commander. I'd like to test out some new security passcodes. If you would be so kind as to seal the doors and disable certain, equipment, we need to talk.
Understood, Commander. I mean, that makes sense. The Mirror Universe isn't actually a separate timeline. It's a separate dimension. It's a separate universe. Well, in the movies, this is the room where they have the Thaleron weapon. It's that thing right in the middle. So...
Thank you for playing along, Sub-Commander. The Tal Shiar can't hear us now. I need to talk to you about Datan and the Separatists. They've been located near the Dewa system. What we do next could change our future.
I've only heard through official channels. What do you know?
Datan has been inspired by Spock's teaching. He and many others have left the homeworld and are gathered together in a flotilla somewhere near Tau Dewa. Datan and his allies have been making overtures of peace to both the Federation and the Klingons. Because of this, they have enough support that even the Tal Shiar won't take direct action against them. The Borg are at our borders. The Empire can't fight the Collective and the Separatists at the same time.
What does this mean for us?
Thank you for playing along, Sub-Commander. If I was, I wouldn't have needed you to lock the door. I intend to put Lieutenant Silan in the brig and then take this ship and crew to join the Separatists. Are you with me?
I mean, yeah, but if we do this, we're going to be traitors to the Empire.
I know. I have tried to work within the system, but the system is broken and corrupt. Datan and his people are building something better. You and I both know it. The crew knows it. We will take this warbird to Datan, and we will finally be free.
Now let's do it then. We must do what's best for our people. It's literally called Thaleron Room Doors, by the way. In case you missed that. I guess Lieutenant Silan's the other way. Alright, cool. Or not. So why are we confronting a lieutenant to take over a ship? Like, that's just kind of weird. Ah, there you are.
Secret conversations between the commander and one of his senior officers? Very suspicious. Loyal citizens of the Romulan Star Empire have no need for locked doors.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to accompany me and the security team to the brig.
Tamer, you are a fool, and you will be the death of everyone on this ship. Datan and his people are terrorists. If you join them, you will share their fate.
I mean, the Tal Shiar are actually designed to be like political officers, so yeah, that tracks. Sir, you're under arrest. Please comply and you will not be harmed. My friends, it's time we forge our own destiny.
Free from the tyranny of the Tal Shiar. If we leave, we will have a better, brighter future than what they would allow us. I know it is a step into the unknown, but it is a step we will take together. Throw off your chains. We will join our brothers and sisters in freedom.
To the Republic. To democracy. Oh, sorry.
I wanted to let you know that I am with you and Commander Tamer. Some of my family has left Romulus to join Datan. I'll be proud to join them.
Set a course for the Dewa system. Maximum warp. You mean warp 10? No! Alright, let's check things here. Notice to all hands, the seminar Traitors in Our Midst, the historical executions of traitors to the Star Empire, has been moved to 2100 hours. Attendance is mandatory for all officers not on duty. Yeah, okay. Notice to all ship commanders, Starfleet vessels have been assisting New Romulus in areas near the neutral zone. Imperial ships are being dispatched as a show of force. Any ship harboring or assisting the Separatists is to be fired upon, no exceptions. Ships in Group Gamma are being reassigned to patrol the areas targeted by the Borg. Contacts are regular, but vigilance is needed to eradicate the threat and protect the colony worlds. Personal log. Gaius is becoming suspicious. I've been speaking to members of the senior staff, and most are in favor of making a run for the flotilla and joining Datan. I remain cautious. They're doing the right thing, but the Borg are nipping at our heels. Every ship the fleet loses might be one needed to protect Romulus in its hour of need. But what is there left to protect? Long-range sensors show no Herald or Iconian signatures, and no references to Heralds in the ship's databases. The only references are the historical files. Most refer to them as myths. There are heightened levels of Borg activity, and multiple colony worlds have been assimilated. Worlds. Plural.
That is the most promising simulation yet. It appears there was some merit to our hypothesis that the Iconians advanced their plans due to early contact.
Are you also high? Is everyone in this stupid station high?
The readings do indicate higher levels of Borg activity, but it should be an acceptable risk.
You're an idiot.
The data in this simulation does show higher Borg activity than we're currently seeing, but there are no signs of Herald, Iconian, or Solanae presence at all. And while the Romulan Star Empire is restored to their former power, there is a democratic Romulan group opposing the Tal Shiar. And more importantly, Romulus is intact. This is the result many of our Romulan researchers have been trying to bring about.
There's actually a term for this, and I forget what it's called. It's when you try to upsell something by only mentioning the positive aspects and ignoring the negative aspects of something you're trying to sell. Not like literally selling you an item, more like trying to sell you an idea. You know, you go to the meeting room, and it's like, here's all the benefits of my plan, and you just mentioned the benefits. Because that's exactly what this woman is doing. I haven't heard one comment from her about, oh yeah, by the way, the Borg are sweeping the Beta Quadrant.
The political calculus of the quadrant will change, but the data supports what you saw on the holodeck. No Iconians. We have solid projections. The only suggestion I have now is that you consider it in conjunction with Captain Nog and the Republic representatives here.
No promises. Nog,
This last test has the most promising results I've seen.
That's the most promising you've seen?
Added bonus. We're not going to have a lot of shots at this. I've been looking at Anorak's work, and I think it's too easy
One
to get
shot.
into a temporal loop where you try again and again for a specific result, and time starts fighting back. I'm inclined to say this is our best chance. But this will have a huge impact on the reality we know, especially your people, Commander Jirok. I won't give my authorization without hearing from everyone.
Commander Jirok, have you ever fought the Borg?
This is difficult. It would change everything for us. We'd have our home back, but the Republic, everything we've built, it would all be gone.
It does, but I don't have it right now.
Even
Mr.
in
Ray.
this other reality, Datan has led many Romulans away from Sela and her Tal Shiar thugs.
Look, I'm not trying to sound unkind, but you realize you're trading the Romulus being destroyed for Romulus being assimilated.
The simulation specifically mentioned Datan and a separatist movement. Commander Tamer makes the choice to join Datan, the same choice he made after the homeworld was lost. With Romulus, we could have numbers. More people who have had enough of the Tal Shiar's oppression could join us. Maybe millions more. If Datan is able to get a movement going, even at the height of the Empire's power, I have to believe that change is possible.
I forget, someone just said this in chat, but I want you to remember this, because Jirok here, who I remind you, is legally authorized to represent the Romulan Republic, which is one of the major leaders of the Alliance, is throwing her weight into this because, and let's be as nice about this as we can, she has glittering stars in her eyes. This woman is thinking, I can get my homeworld back. And that's logical. Ironically, it makes sense that she'd be gushing about the idea to save those billions of lives from never having died. But again, she's not looking at the picture. She's just seeing this filter mask over her eyes. That's why she shouldn't be the one to make this decision.
Make the incursion. The lives we save will be worth the work we'll have to do to reform the Republic. The Tal Shiar wasn't able to stop us the first time. They won't stop us again.
So who's ready for this to go extremely badly? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. We're not doing a simulation. We're actually going to make an incursion. Remember, there's only one way to undo making incursions. That's to destroy the time ship with the time ship, right? To make it so it was never made. That's the only way to do that. So anything we do now, it's locked in. And remember, what we are doing is surgically removing things from reality. We cannot add to reality. I talked about this so many times. We cannot change, we cannot add to, we can only remove from.
No. We expected to see some Borg activity, but this can't be right.
Target acquired and locked.
Sorry, that was... So yeah, we take out this one meteor. We have our temporal shields up.
It will be good to see the world of my birth again.
And she's just so excited to see Romulus. So we warp straight to Romulus. Which is...
Elements. Is that Romulus?
Used to be.
It's been completely assimilated.
Lore shock!
Yes, I think we have a problem.
Really? And remember, this isn't a simulation. We actually just altered time. And this is the result. Wadib, thank you for the sub. Welcome to the Year Club. Always appreciate you. If you want to put that towards something in particular, that anniversary sub, please let me know. So now we got to fix this. Remember, we can't alter, we can't add, we can only subtract. It's important. But hang on. Something even worse is coming.
I agree that this is unexpected, Commander. but we knew there would be anomalies. We need more information. Let's find out where the simulation might have gone wrong.
Okay, hang on. Done. I figured it out. The simulation went wrong because it was a simulation. The Final Fantasy audit. You got it, Maudib. Oh yeah. Second thing to point out. Yeah, we don't have any of the resources we were just using. Because we're kind of, stranded with these 3 ships that are temporarily shielded. Oh yeah, problem number 3. You asshats decided to go forwards with this. Against my recommendation.
The whole system can't be assimilated, can it?
Gerard,
that is a lot of Borg.
Hang on. I'm gonna turn around, and I'm gonna smack you with my ship. Smack! You idiot! Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Roz. Romulans have been consumed by the Borg. Actually, yeah. Again, my ship is stupidly big. Damn it, Ryman! Quit it! I swear to God. I shake my fist at you. Okay, hang on. Ross is putting it towards Firewatch. Ryman is like, I'm gonna make Max Payne happen by myself. And I'm gonna be like, that's not how that works. Please stop donating. Thank you. Oh, you're actually not putting it towards that. Wow. Okay. You know what really, you want to hear something stupid, Ryman, is I actually feel bad about how little time I do. I always feel like I should do more. Although I guess I feel that way in general, so that's kind of a whatever. Oh. Is a Borg a step up or down from the Iconians? I guess that's a matter of perspective. Would you rather be killed, burned to death, or assimilated? Thank you, Ryman.
According to these scans, the planet has been completely assimilated. I'm not detecting any non-Borg life signs. This is bad. Really, really bad. We need to fix this.
Always appreciate very much so. Thank you. Thank you. I will put that towards the Avatar Streaminations.
Borg ships decloaking! Red alert!
Oh yeah, the Borg used cloaks in this timeline.
First the Klingons, now the Borg. Does everyone steal cloaking technology from us?
Could you be slightly less flippant about the fact that everything is awful forever? Because of you?
Borg reinforcements on an intercept course.
Yeah, speaking of Borgs with cloaks. I mean, I don't mean to sound unkind, but Jarok is more personally responsible for this particular problem than any other individual person. Now, we all get blame here. We get blame, Nog gets blame, Ensign overly eager gets blame. But Jarok was the one who's like, I'm going to throw the political capital of the Republic behind this.
Before we can fix this. I'll keep the Krenim ship well out of Borg sensor range while you go in and find out what happened. Hurry. More Borg will be arriving soon.
Yeah, by the way, how many of you have already thought of that? That's a Krenim time ship. These are the Borg.
I've modified some personal shield generators to shield you temporally as well. I'm transporting them over now. Hurry. The temporal shielding drains a lot of power. You won't have much time down there before you're unprotected. If that happens, this will be your new reality.
Then let's go. Yeah, it's welcome to the future. Pants to be darkened.
We need more data to plot a possible solution. With any luck, the Borg will have what we need. Maybe. Our focus is on restoration. There is a computer node in this area of the Unimatrix that should have what we need. Find the node and download all the data you can from the point where we made
The
our
whole
incursion.
planet.
That should
All
help
our
us find out how
people.
to fix this.
They're bored. I'm going to join you. I know this place. Or at least I knew this place. Before we lost the homeworld, it was a Tal Shiar complex. Most of the secrets of our empire were stored here. I thought I was getting my home back, but now the Borg have taken it all away. This is like losing Romulus all over again.
Can someone... Where's my newspaper? Can someone smack her?
The controls ahead of us will unlock the bulkheads.
Stop being dumb. I'm gonna need to buy a newspaper prop just to keep on my desk for moments like this, aren't I?
I can't believe we were so wrong.
I can, but then again, I have a functioning brain. Q shows up every year in Star Trek Online during the Winter Wonderland event. But to actually answer you, the answer is no. The Q have never made a significant appearance in STO.
Override the door controls.
And if we're being honest, they probably shouldn't. No, the smack emote is just a Discord one. We've got stab, but that's a little bit, you know, harsher. God. That's true, there is the possibility of smack stabbing. Stabbing in the face with a newspaper. Isn't that just Alien at that point? The first film? Oh yeah, no, we're kitted out like crazy. Like, obviously this is kind of more of a gameplay than a lore thing, but think about all the Voth and Iconian and Borg technology we have, much of which is from the future. Even from our perspective.
We have to find a way to make this right.
Yeah.
Is futile.
Yep. Sure is.
There. That's the access node console we need.
Yeah, let's herp, shall we? We are on a deadline here.
Locked. We'll have to circumvent their security measures.
Excuse me.
Wait! Incoming Borg!
Yep. Yeah, I'll have a portal to the sun, okay. Is that a new one or one I missed, Dakota? Either way, lol.
This was Romulan technology once, but it's been completely assimilated.
Really? I wonder who assimilated it. By the way, look, you can't even see the sky. There's just Borg above us. Ironically, no, Kay, they do not adapt to that.
When we lost the homeworld, I thought that was the worst thing that could happen to us.
That's because you have no imagination.
Akiv?
Hey, we get to kill Akiv again.
Will become one with the Borg. Resistance is futile.
I take it back. It's all worth it for a chance to kill Akiv again. Secundus of Borg. Which makes perfect sense. Remember, this all is actually pretty logical. Let's run this back here, shall we? What probably happened was the Tal Shiar, who were really messing with Borg tech, would have at least one person who was stupid enough to overuse and over-examine the Borg tech. And Akiv, who is Tal Shiar and is very stupid, would absolutely be that person. Temporal records. Drone 2. Let's see. Break down records by year. Provide a summary of events for the Romulus system only. Romulus. So on Stardate, I don't know what that is. Romulus system added to the collective. Unimatrix established in orbit of Romulus. Designated Unimatrix 652. All adjuncts of Unimatrix 652 redesignated into Tri-Matrixes 1152 through 1274.
It looks like the main invasion of Romulan space occurred about 20 years ago. Something happened in the Delta Quadrant. The Borg assimilated something that greatly improved their technology. They adapted, evolved, and my people, they didn't have a chance. Maybe it's our fate to lose Romulus.
Lady, we have bigger problems than your goddamn homeworld! Get me out of here, now! I'm sorry to sound so harsh, because again, we're talking billions of lives in her home. I get it. But this is exactly why people like you, Jarok, should not make decisions like this. Here, I've got my back scratcher. Whap! Right on the knuckles. Ugh. Okay.
Let's get out of here. There are more than 20 Borg ships on an intercept course.
That's it? Well, she's got ourselves lucky.
Borg decloaking.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna... Oh, okay. We need to not be here anymore. She's the reason we decided to actually make this incursion rather than do anything else or do more tests or any of that.
Resist this.
That's the wrong reading for that line. That should be resist this, not resist this. Come on, voice directors. I know you can do better than that. Now, normally I let that kind of stuff slide, but honestly...
Transmit the data! Hurry! We're under attack! We're losing power! Send the data now before we lose temporal shielding!
Focus on your repairs. We will make sure the data is preserved. Data is compressed and ready.
Could you send it?
Communications array is ready.
Could you send it?
Secure channel confirmed.
Send it!
Data received!
Go!
I'm running the numbers now. If we target the Borg transwarp network, the Borg may never be able to reach Romulus.
It is a great risk. The Borg have a great deal of influence on the timeline, and there is no time to run simulations.
Yeah!
Have a choice?
We do not.
That's the other thing. Last time we had a space station and a fleet, resources, and time. Now we have none of that.
Fire in the weapon! Now!
So yeah, we're making sure that that particular transwarp nexus never existed.
The Borg are gone. But so is Romulus.
Oh my god.
Romulus isn't the only thing we lost. Temporal shielding is failing.
What happened?
The Borg did too much damage to the generators.
Pay attention to this.
If we lose the temporal shielding, we'll all reintegrate with the timeline.
Has anything else changed?
Checking? No. The Tutarians. They're gone!
How?
I see the problem. 20 years ago, your people tried to replicate the work of the Solanae to protect themselves from the Borg. They failed.
Temporal shield is at 8%.
No, I need to restabilize the shields.
I'm downloading my personal files into the shielded core. You'll have all my research notes and everything we've recorded from this mission.
You're giving up? When the shield fails, If the Tutarians were lost in the past, then you'll be lost too.
Temporal shield is losing integrity.
Is there anything we can do?
No, we all knew the risks. I love...
Did you catch that, Ross? Let me walk you through that one in case you missed that. You might have heard of the Tutarians before. They're actually from the Star Trek show. They're usually referred to, however, by a different name. The Sphere Builders. We haven't been in Star Trek's primary timeline this entire game. Everything we've been doing was, let's call it Timeline 1. Up until the moment where we make that incursion, alter time, and screw up with the Romulans. That's Timeline 2, which we were only briefly in. In our haste and rush to get out of Timeline 2, we completely fundamentally altered the history of the Tutarians, who were working with Solanae tech to learn how to escape the Borg into subspace. What do the spheres do to normal space? And now here we are in Timeline 3, aka the actual time of the shows. And if you're paying any kind of attention, we effectively just started the temporal Cold War, which didn't exist in the previous two timelines. For all the issues this mission has, can I just say, I am impressed. Legitimately impressed about how well crafted that is. And how brilliant that is. Honestly, I want to give that single point multiple positives to story. I cannot properly explain how brilliant that is. It's a perfect way to tie in so many arcs. By the way, some of you may or may not know that the next story arc after this is called The Temporal War. So we're going to get to see a little bit more of that Cold War in action, even just in the game. So it's not just connecting the show, it's actually setting up for the next story arc. Yeah. Stuff like that is why I tend to refer to this as the Legion of STO. What's the name of this? This is Butterfly. Yep. A very appropriate name for the episode, by the way. So, you gotta explain your issue, Mike Kamano. What's the issue? What's the complaint? What's the problem? If you don't tell me, I can't answer you. You just said, this is a plot hole. And I'm like, okay. Question mark? You gotta elaborate, man. Yeah, I love it. We're gonna run a simulation on altering reality at a fundamental level. That's a great idea. God damn. How do we revert the change we originally made? We didn't. So think of it like the stack. We were talking about this earlier from Magic the Gathering. Let me run you through a hypothetical. Let's say I make it so that, let's do something really banal, okay? I make it so the sandwich you had for lunch never existed, okay? Cool. But as a consequence, you decided to go across the street and in order to get a burrito instead. While you were crossing the street, you get run over by a car. You die. Now I'm like, oh my God. So in order to fix that, what I do is I make it so, like, in a hurry because I'm freaking out and not sure what to do because there's Borg coming down my throat. I decide to erase that car. So that car is now gone. That car never existed. And now, remember, your sandwich is still gone, but now you managed to cross the street without getting run over. But now we've changed so many other things because that car was never made, that steel was never processed, that metal never existed. You get my point? So that's what effectively happened. We didn't actually fix the timeline. That's why I say we're in timeline 3, because this is a fundamentally different timeline than 2-1. In so many ways that we will be that has led to so much of Star Trek history, it's kind of silly to even think about. I'm not sure why they would be, Mike Romano. What is it? Let's zoom in a little bit. What is it you think that makes the Borg stronger from the fact that we removed one of their transwarp hubs from having ever existed retroactively? Oh yeah, no. To be completely blunt, let's be real about this. There's some hand waviness going on here. In fact, there's a lot of hand waviness going on here. Let's just admit that and acknowledge that. But let's also go into this and mention that the Federation is ludicrously lucky here, which is seriously funny to think about. So, Mike Romano says, why were the Borg super strong? So they weren't. They were just the Borg. The only thing that happened, the only change, the only difference, is the fact that in Timeline 2, because of the fact that we got the attention... Okay, so hang on. Rewind a second, okay? Remember how Hakeev and his group were like, Borg tech, Borg tech. Wait a second. Iconians. Iconian tech. Iconian tech. That's actually a real thing that happened, right? It's part of what led to the Kelvin timeline. It's part of what we saw. It's one of the reasons they kept using so much Borg tech on their ships is because they'd already been using that. Okay? But then in Timeline 1, they shifted over to Iconian's tech instead of Borg tech. So that kind of prevented the Borg from being like, from waking up. Let's call it what it is. Because we could tell exactly what happened. What happened was the Tal Shiar never got distracted over to Iconian tech. They stuck with Borg tech. The Borg tech woke up, took them over. Secundus became the first one, and hey, guess what? Now we have nothing but Borg tech here. The Borg are not stronger. What effectively happened was a Borg drone happened in the middle of the Romulan Star Empire, and that's game, as it should be. So all we did was prevent the transwarp conduit, which allowed the Borg fleet's invasion, which... So the Borg didn't actually have presence here. Sense, Mike? So by all intents and accounts, the Kelvin timeline would still exist, yes. Because the initial... the destruction of Romulus, which was perpetrated by the Iconians, because the Iconian tech was pushed forward, would still happen. There actually is a term for this. Someone mentioned it in chat. It's called arc welding. When you take disparate story arcs that aren't really supposed to be part of each other and connect them, and that can be done well or poorly. I think this is a good example of it, but this is still arc welding. By the way, I've decided after some thought, I'm giving this 3 positives. It's one of my favorite plot points in gaming. Like, it's the top. I love this. Yeah, that's why I mentioned, if you were paying attention earlier, I was like, this is one of the smartest things I've ever done, and I just pointed to her, and I didn't elaborate. Some of us, when we played this for the first time, were like, that's a sphere builder. What is going on with this? And it was just there like a question mark, like, huh? It's the perfect kind of so I've talked before about the Hitchcockian methods of tension, right? Because there's we know, they don't, we know, they do, they know, we don't, and neither of us know. What we just saw was a variant of neither of us know and also we know. It would be like if we're walking along and we just see someone. I don't have a good example, but it's like we know something's wrong because we get it. We catch that that's a sphere hunter, and we're like, okay. But that doesn't make sense. The very, very presence of a sphere hunter, I keep saying sphere hunter, sphere builder being there. I don't know where I'm getting hunter from. A sphere builder being there and actually just interacting with us like everything's normal and cool is just kind of. And it's just a question mark. And that's its purpose. Its purpose is to just be a question mark in the back of our minds. Until we see that the Tutarians were messed up and it's just like, oh, that's where you were going with that. And yeah, you notice she was the voice of reason. She was the woman who was just cool and understood not only what she was doing, but the gravity of it. And it's all our fault. I love that. We did that. We did that. We screwed that up. Good freaking job. Now, there's another implication here, which we're going to cover very quickly. What do you think Noya is like, having never married the woman who stabilized him? Remember, he was relatively... relatively polite. He was obviously ornery, but the presence of his wife... He even apologized to us. You remember that? He was just like, you know what, I'm sorry. That's just... I've got some things on my mind. I just want to be done with all this. What do you think that personality is going to be like without that stabilizing element having ever existed?
We found a temporally shielded computer core, and it shows 2 uses of the Krenim weapon. But as far as I know, the Iconians are still out there. We changed the timeline, but we didn't fix our most important problem.
Oh yeah, by the way, we don't remember anything that just happened. Because our temporal shielding ran out, and so we were merged with the timeline, which means none of those events ever happened from our perspective. The only information we have to show that we did anything was the information in the core which she put in. That's it. If it wasn't for her, and that's another point in her favor and her general competence. If she hadn't thought, I'm going to dump some data into the core, which is the one part of the ship that's permanently temporally shielded, we would know nothing. So how different is the current setting now that we just altered history twice?
We won't be sure until we finish analyzing the data, but the Krenim weapon was used twice. I remember being on the bridge of the Krenim ship and seeing a readout with a far lower power reserve than had just been there a moment before. I'm sure you had a similar situation.
And yeah, sorry, this needs to be re-emphasized. Ignoring the obvious reasons that's a benefit, if she hadn't done that, we wouldn't have realized we had used the weapon already, so we'd use it again. And possibly again, because this time we wouldn't have anybody with a frickin' brain on the team.
As to the greater differences, we'll know more soon. I only hope the ripples from what we did today don't start a tsunami.
Well, we just created Star Trek, the shows.
We found a temporally shielded computer core. We haven't dug that far into the data yet, and it will take some in-depth investigation to catalog all of the changes. Noi is going to lead the group taking care of that. I will say it is odd to find personal logs I don't remember making.
Yeah, well, you'll get used to it. Yeah, that's right. Archer is our fault.
Very. But from what we've already seen, it appears the reason the weapon was fired twice was because we had to try to correct a change we made. Technology like this seems so simple, but even the smallest change can make more trouble than it solves.
What about this is simple?
Be more cautious. Far more cautious than we've already been, I suppose. The next mistake might not be fixable.
Oh yeah.
Time alteration might not be the answer. There are some problems that can't be solved with a weapon. But time travel... Look, whatever happens, it was good working with you. I hope we have the chance to do so in the future.
Okay, real talk. One of my earliest ideas for the Trek rewrite was to make it a timeline that came about as a result of my character fixing this event. So the new timeline of the rewrite was going to be, that timeline restructured to fix all the mistakes that were caused by this very mission. I obviously changed my mind about that and went a different direction with it, but it was one of my earliest ideas for the rewrite. Hey, Jarok. Your planet's dead.
We've put so much hope into using the Krenim technology to solve our problems. Perhaps I was caught up in the possibilities and blind to the potential for disaster. We tried and we failed. But this isn't the end. We'll keep looking at the simulations as well as any other option open to us. I have to have faith that we will find a way to defeat the Iconians.
Yeah.
I was conducting another simulation, and all of a sudden I got an emergency call telling me to stop everything. I will be looking at whatever data we managed to save to try and determine what went wrong. Maybe we can try again after we know more. It has been good to have you here, but we will have to consider if time alteration is really the best course of action.
Oh my God.
Of all the records we have of time travel, few have as drastic a result as this. Perhaps removing elements from the time stream isn't the solution we need.
Really? By the way, in case you missed that, that's kind of where we were at in the Prime timeline, which is what we are now. Timeline 3, Prime timeline. We were getting ready and doing simulations to figure out which possible altercation would be the best one to move forward, when all of a sudden, it's like, hold up. We suddenly have a lot of data in the core of the ship we didn't have earlier. Hey, Noya. How are you doing? By the way, notice he is now the head researcher here.
I have a lot of information to analyze. The shielded core appears to have made it through the process intact, and will give us a wealth of data on the timeline and how the changes have affected it. Clearly, you made a mistake somewhere. I still feel this is the best technology available to us, but we will need minds sufficient to the task to operate it.
Sure thing. Oh, absolutely, Kira White Noise. I love that we literally started the Temporal Cold War. And Hot War that we'll be playing probably today. We'll probably get there today.
Captain Nog tells me that the initial test of the Krenim weapon was less than promising.
Dude.
He says that he and his team have a great deal of data still to analyze. But I do not believe they will find much that will assist us. Removing elements from the time stream is reckless, and while our options are limited, we should not destroy ourselves in a fruitless effort to destroy the Iconians. It is time to consider all of our alternatives.
I hate to bash this guy for this, but this is the same dude who was like, we can't wait for this weapon. Let's go to a suicide mission. Okay, that didn't work. We need the weapon no matter the cost. And now he's like, we must not use the weapon. It's like, okay. So the final episode of the Iconian arc is called Midnight.
One way or another, the war ends today. The Iconians are massing for a final push towards the key worlds of the Alliance. We are gathering any remaining forces to mount a defense. And perhaps, if we are fortunate, we will be able to turn back time.
Well.
You are cleared for docking.
You know what's funny? If you've been paying careful attention, there has been no mention of the Temporal Cold War, not counting the TOS episode thing, which I accidentally did, which is actually supposed to happen after this, don't think about it, in this entire game. There's been some time travel bits, but none of the actual Temporal Cold War, which makes perfect sense because it never happened in the timeline we were playing through. And I guarantee you they did that on purpose. Like, someone somewhere was like, hold on a second. Okay, well, what are our options here? Oh, hey, Corin.
The High Command is still intact, and Kronos remains unconquered. Even so, this war cannot be won if we lose Earth. The Bortesque will fight until she can fight no more, as will I. If this is to be our end, then I will meet it with blade in hand and blood in my teeth. I can ask for no greater honor than to fight beside an ally who has shown this courage time and again.
Kapla, Captain Corin. Sean?
Glad you're here. We've been fighting non-stop and it feels like we're barely making a dent. Command says we're preparing for our last chance. I hope they have an ace up their sleeve, because I can't see a way to defeat the Iconians in a straight military battle.
We can't.
Whatever happens, just remember that you'll always have the Enterprise at your side.
Thank you, Cap Sean. Commander Jarok?
All these years of pain and strife, and it comes to this? I cannot believe that this is how we will end. Our suffering, our struggles cannot be rendered so meaningless. You know what we have been through. This bitter taste, this grief that washes over me, cannot be the last thing that I feel. We will rise again from this. We must.
Well on true, Commander. It's grim, sir. Most people are trying to stay hopeful, but we've lost so much in the war, the pressure is just wearing everyone down. Yeah, it's almost like we've been losing non-stop this entire arc. We still haven't won anything. Unless you count pissing off our enemy more. Or rewriting history twice.
We have defeated one Iconian, but the cost to do so was too high. The Iconian forces are too numerous for us to sustain such a strategy. We have been forced to our last resort. The Krynim timeship has been modified, and we can use it to generate a portal to send us back to the ancient time of Iconia. Once there, we must prevent any Iconians from escaping the destruction of their home world. If necessary, we must kill the remaining Iconians ourselves.
So, if you're paying attention, and I don't blame you if you're not, one of the first things someone suggested with the timeship was, why don't we wipe out the Iconians? The answer was, that's a terrible idea. Let's ignore morality for just a second. Let's pretend we're a typical politician. Throw it out the window. What we have here is a situation in which that was a horrible, horrible idea for all the reasons. It was also the first thing they considered. But that was timeline 1. So now we're pushed back up against the wall and we're like, well, let's do it. Let's go genocide the Iconians. Do I need to even consider, finish explaining what's wrong with this?
We presumably failed at temporal incursion, changing things in the past while remaining in a bubble of temporally shielded current time. This allows the timeline to unfold as it will, almost randomly. My team and I have been working on an alternative method that will actually send someone back in time to the past, where they can directly affect the timeline and help to guide it along the desired path. We've been running some basic scenarios that leave us quite hopeful that we can aid in the original attacks on ancient Iconia to ensure there are no survivors for us to deal with in the present.
So A, that's a little bit of a risky plan, and B, that's still genocide.
We cannot sustain this war. The Iconians will destroy or conquer every species in the galaxy if we do not stop them now. There is no guarantee that this plan will work, but if we do not try, we will certainly lose everything. Our long-range sensors have detected signs of transit from the Iconian spheres. The Iconians must be preparing their heralds for another large-scale invasion. We are gathering our remaining forces to make our stand. The Iconians have picked our next battlefield, and it is the Sol System. If Earth falls, we have lost this war. We have one move left to us, and it is to move this war to a battlefield of our own design. We will attack the Iconians in the past.
Who's the Orion?
We've identified that the Iconians were forced from their homeworld in an attack 200,000 years ago. We will take part in that attack and ensure there are no survivors to fight us in the present. Noi's team is busy reconfiguring the time ship. There are no guarantees, even with time travel on our side. We must hold out long enough for a ship to pass through a temporal portal. That means fighting this fight and every other until this technology is complete.
Captain, this goes against everything we stand for. Everything we've been fighting for.
You talk of honor and duty and freedom. All of these will just be words if we fail. We can try to live up to these ideals when we survive.
Where did the gun come from? Also, while I'm here, random question. I've always wondered why Captain Nobody here is just in charge of the anti-Iconian effort. For some reason.
I don't agree with this course of action. It goes against everything that Starfleet was founded on. That being said, I can't think of any better options. We've been unable to turn the tide of this war. I will defend Earth until my final breath. I just want to make sure that if we win, we do so without becoming everything we're fighting against.
By the way, this is a bit of a who's who. There's Franklin Drake. Over there's Captain Nitty. There's Van Ziel. Like, there's a whole lot of the NPCs that have been in the whole game here. They don't have dialogue, they're just here. It's nice window dressing. I like it.
All this talk about staying true to some grand principles is meaningless. Let's first win this war by whatever means are necessary. I'd be happy to let my descendants worry about asking for forgiveness for my actions.
Well, speaking as someone who's met your father, I look forward to talking to your children about that.
We have a tremendous fight ahead of us that we need to prepare for. Do not distract yourself with philosophical debate. If you are doing right by yourself and your crew, those are the only measures necessary for determining honor. I will see you in battle.
Let's do it.
You are cleared for departure. Good luck.
May the Force be with us. We're gonna need it. First, the Undine and the Iconians attack Earth within the same year, or rather within a year of each other. That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of ships.
I've gotten word from Noi. They've completed their modifications, and the Krenim time ship is on its way. We must hold off the heralds long enough for the Krenim ship to arrive and generate a portal. Once the portal is open, we will go back in time to ancient Iconia and try to change history. But first, we must survive long enough to do so.
Where do you need me?
Enterprise here. We've intercepted a group of heralds. Can you give us a hand with them?
Done. Yeah, admittedly, the effect of the ships...
This is the USS Hood. Our attack group is taking heavy losses.
Well, it's okay. I'm not the Bismarck.
Your call for assistance, Hood.
You know, I'm just going to shut up and let this play out a bit. In fact, actually, hold on. I hate to do a music override, but I think I have something a little more appropriate for this. Hang on, I gotta find the right thing. Sorry, give me a sec. a good question, Blade Ball. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think that could go either way. Yeah, maybe. But not a guarantee.
Shipment range. This is the USS Cleveland. We're losing reactor containment. We need immediate assistance.
On our way.
Enterprise can hold the line. Help get those ships back into the fight.
Working on it.
Magnetic fields are failing. All hands, abandon ship.
Get the escape pods.
Kurland here.
Kurland? Kurland! By the way, notice that a lot of those spots are actually debris. Our own ship's debris. They were fighting before we even got here.
Jupiter Station is reporting Herald ships are moving in some kind of massive infrastructure. Requesting immediate assistance.
IKS Varanus, changing course to Jupiter.
Oh, millions, Space Cadet. Millions of people. Like, on the low end. Gosh, I sure hope that's the moon, Kay, because if that ain't, we got problems.
The shipyards are losing integrity. We need someone on damage control, or we may lose them before the ships and dock can mobilize.
Working on it.
Akagi here. We've restored main power. Thanks for keeping the gantries intact. Bringing the Fight 99th Attack Wing into battle now.
This is ESD control. We're losing life support and transporters are offline.
Earth's space dock has lost main power. We're evacuating the crew.
Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. No! Damn it! It resolved itself. Hang on. See if we can get back in quickly enough. We might have to start that battle over. Nope, we're good. We're good. It was a brief enough blip. We're about to die though from that because I was just on the server's mentality. I was just sitting there doing nothing for several seconds. In this. Oh yeah, we're getting some server lag. That's not good. It's a bad time for that. These are still Iconian ships. They still hurt like hell. Oh, we're not done time traveling. I'm gonna stay quiet about that. I know, I'm just poking fun way too much. So that's another bit of... Damn it, server! What are you doing? I'm gonna check the Twitter really quick. Yep, we've just hopped timelines again. Okay, we didn't get knocked out. Ugh, we're over here, though. If you ever wonder why we call it rubber banding, that's why. I don't understand the question, okay? Here, let me do a beam overload really quick here. Let me hit this button, and then this one, this one. That was actually slower than I thought it would be. Well, whatever. And time to do another beam overload. If we reached the timeline where Star Trek Online was actually a wildly successful game from the beginning, and was always well supported and well funded, but had lots and lots of executive meddling. So we need to change the timeline again to get rid of the executives. I actually have several things that are doing that, Kay. Like, I have 5 or 6 different combos that are making that happen. So, can I please move?
I told you I'd be back, and this time, I brought friends.
We have brought together forces from every quadrant of the galaxy. The Iconians have done the impossible. They've united us.
I hope you're happy to see me. It doesn't look like things have been going too well so far. I left because I needed to find allies for this war, ones who you couldn't or wouldn't talk to. The Dominion understands the Iconian threat, and they are quite eager to protect their stake in this galaxy.
Your timing is, as always, impeccable.
The Herald ships are regrouping. We should use this respite to our advantage. Form up at the KIS Anarax. We must protect it long enough for it to activate a time portal. Once the portal is stabilized, we can use it to go back to Iconia's past, and hopefully undo this war. Before it starts.
I love how the dialogue is still, that's our only option.
Our situation is desperate. If we fail here, Earth will fall. And Kronos won't have much hope of standing without it.
Alright.
I am arriving with the time ship. We must protect it until the portal is stable.
Well, if you insist. Only one S, my Kamado.
Keep the Iconians off of us. Temporal coordinates have been identified.
Oh, they brought in a dreadnought. They brought in a dreadnought. Damn it, Commander Jarok. Stop trying to ram the enemy ship. But it'll bring my homeworld back. No, it won't.
We're halfway there, creating a bridge across space-time.
Okay, it's not lag, it's just the Iconian screw you ability.
Just a little bit longer, stabilizing the temporal portal so a ship can travel through it.
Yeah, remember, none of these losses mean anything to the Iconians. These are either servitor races or constructs.
The portal is active and stable. Enter it now.
Where is it? There it is. Back in a few 100,000 years.
Energizing temporal emitters. The time portal is open and stable.
Go! Get through that portal!
Setting a course now.
The heralds are firing on the portal!
Huh?
The portal is destabilizing. Hurry!
Hey, one of those...
More gateways! An Iconian flagship is moving in!
This is the moment of your extinction.
Not today. Everyone, form up and cover our six.
Theirs not to make reply. Theirs not to reason why. Theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600.
A good quote, badly read. So.
Evaluating astrometrics. Confirmed. We have traveled back approximately 200,000 years. Only our two ships made it through.
There are no signs of Captain Cogran or his ship. We will have to continue the mission without him.
So, I'm just gonna jazz about this for a second, because this is Iconia. They had to effectively make this from whole cloth. And, I mean, granted, it's not the most impressive thing in the world. I'm not gonna try and oversell it. But still, this is Iconia. And if you can't tell, that's the planet down below us, because they have the floating city thing going on.
Perfect. This will give us a moment to get our bearings and figure out how best to prevent the Iconians from escaping their doom. There are only 12 Iconians that we've encountered, so trying to deal with just those 12 will be a much easier task than trying to take on this whole world.
Let's see what we can learn about them while we're here.
Greetings of the whole to you, strangers, and welcome to Iconia. My name is Matara, and I am a herald of Matara. Before I can allow you to pass, I must scan you to ensure that your technology is of a sufficient level for you to be allowed access to our city. This will only take a moment.
By all means.
Your technology is sufficient, but your chronoton particles are substantially out of phase. Please follow me. You must speak to my mistress.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the default music for this place? Screw that nonsense. I've got a better song for this. And you know what song I'm about to play. If I can find it.
Remember why we are here. Every Iconian must die in the bombardment, and their technology cannot be taken. If even one Iconian escapes, this could all be for nothing.
I remember.
I recommend we begin by infiltrating their government building. We need access to their data and the gateway controls.
I did, actually. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Thank you.
You've seen the ruins of a once mighty empire. This is Iconia at the height of its power.
So the Iconians don't look the same. I mean, you could kind of tell the similarities, but they don't look all energy E back here. Hang on, I need to write something down real quick. Sorry, give me a sec.
I apologize for the interruption, Honored One. These travelers have just arrived at our city. Their chronoton particles are out of phase, and per your instructions, I have brought them to you.
Thank you, Mataran. You may return to your station. Greetings, friends, and welcome to Iconia. It is highly unusual to receive visitors with such unusual chronoton signatures, and yet we have had 2 in less than a cycle. Do you know a being named Cogran?
Yes, we were separated from him on our journey here.
Wonderful. He will be quite pleased to reunite with you. You should be able to find him in the residential district. I imagine you passed through the same chronoton-charged nebula he did. That would account for the anomalous readings.
No doubt. Excuse me. Is there anything else we need to know?
Since you are explorers like Cogran, I suggest you speak to Lemiran. She is the keeper of our world heart, a repository of all knowledge and a genetic record of the worlds we have visited. The astrometrics data in the world heart could prove quite useful to you.
And yeah, in case
Do you have any questions?
In case you missed that, this is Matara, the one we killed. What are the Heralds?
Our world teems with life, but we were the first to become self-aware. Time is no enemy to us. An Iconian can live thousands of years, but our numbers have always been few, and as the years passed, we understood that would not change. Needing servants and companions, we found a local population that could be molded and shaped to suit our purposes. At first, we used them as beasts of burden, or for tasks that were too difficult or dangerous to do ourselves. I imagine your own species has similar creatures. Over the years, machines and technology began to replace many of those functions. And as technology advanced, what we needed from the Heralds changed as well. Ultimately, we needed beings who could think for themselves. Our genetic reshapers transformed the Heralds from beasts to companions. Now we have achieved a kind of symbiosis. The Heralds perform the routine tasks that keep our society moving. We provide leadership, technological advancement, and defense.
I mean, I'm not sure what else to add to that, to be completely honest with you. I think it speaks for itself. So, how are Heralds made?
We begin with a particular genetic line. Sometimes we will use archived genetic material from the world heart, but most often we simply take what we need from Heralds who already perform a similar service. We then resequence the genetic material in utero, removing any defects and enhancing natural abilities the Herald will need. We also modify their behavior to ensure loyalty and remove unwanted aggression. Once they are born, we begin an intensive training process. Heralds mature very quickly, so by the time their training is complete, they are fully grown and ready to serve.
But what's your relationship to them?
We are patrons, parents, and perhaps even gods to the Heralds. In turn, they are our hands, our eyes, and our pets. Each Herald is created to fulfill a specific function for his master. For example, it is my duty to interact with visitors to our world, but I cannot always be there to greet them. Mataran stands in my stead, examining those who seek our gifts and bringing any special guests, like yourself, to me. Our relations with the other species of this region have been contentious for some time. They covet our culture and our technology and refuse to accept their proper place in the Order. Now they are threatening to attack. As a precaution, Many of our people have departed through the gateways to our colony worlds. Once the others have seen the errors of their ways and accepted our rule, my people can return. Do you have other questions?
No, I'm good, thanks. And yeah, no, the Kobali are totally using Iconian tech. Or some offshoot of Iconian tech, something.
Greetings, travelers. Are you explorers, or do you come seeking our wisdom and guidance? Either way, I apologize. I am rather occupied at the moment. Please, return later. I should have time to speak to you then.
I'm sorry, can you tell me anything about the World Heart first?
The World Heart is the repository of all our knowledge. It contains the genetic information of every species on Iconia and all of our colony worlds. With it, we can colonize and repopulate an entire world, shaping it to resemble our home in just a few short years. It also holds a record of our culture, history, literature, and philosophy. This is why we call it the World Heart. It is, in a very real way, the center of our civilization.
So, have you ever heard of this thing called a backup? It's this brand new concept. We just invented it. It's brilliant. You should look into it.
The changes we see in the Iconians are too great to be simple evolution. The Iconians shape themselves and the Heralds into weapons. Genetic engineering that is both efficient and terrible.
Hey, Cagrin.
You made it. Something must have gone wrong as we entered the portal that disrupted synchronization. I arrived 2 weeks ago. I remained cloaked, scanned the planet for several days, and then came to the surface as an explorer, seeking to open diplomatic relations with the Iconians. My ship is using the magnetic fields above the poles to help conceal its presence.
What have you found?
The Iconians of this time are nothing like the ones we know. They are flesh and appear to be friendly and peaceful, if a bit arrogant with those they see as lesser. Come. They will allow us to move through the city freely. You should see this for yourself.
Cogran is either a fool, or he's being manipulated by the Iconians. Either way, he might jeopardize the mission. We'll need to watch him closely.
I mean, he has a point. Also, shut up, Sela.
Someone's calling for help.
What?
An injured herald. This could be a chance to learn about their physiology. Perhaps even find a weakness.
Sela, are you... You know, whatever.
Hello. Can you help us? My herald is injured, and I cannot leave him. I need someone to bring us some healing supplies.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Give me a second to move my playlist up a little bit here. Up to... Here should be good. No, here. Can you tell me about the heralds?
Heralds are also native to this planet. They were not as evolved as we are, so we enhanced them. The heralds are our companions and our helpers. They are our hands and our eyes, and they are our children. It is rare for my species to reproduce. In fact, it has been more than a century since a new Iconian was born on this world. Perhaps we are evolving beyond the need for such things. We will endure here, and our heralds will spread our word throughout the stars.
I'll help your herald.
Thank you. There should be a healer nearby.
Do you require assistance?
Are you a healer? We have need of medical assistance for a herald.
Certainly. However, I do not detect any injuries or maladies in your physical form. What do you require?
Could you fix my teeth? And my digestive tract and the deviated thing I can't think of the name of, and Honestly, I suffer from headaches a little bit, not as much as I used to. I got a laundry list if you got time.
Oh, of course. It is our duty and privilege to care for our heralds.
Oh, yeah, fix my eyes.
I will follow you to the patient.
And no, not the deviated septum. That's been fixed. I'm talking about the thing in my my abdomen, which I can never think of the name of.
We'll see who the lesser race is.
I have spent days among these people. They are very proud and very strong.
Thank you, Traveler. I appreciate your assistance.
Question, what do you think of the Iconians?
How do you feel about your creator?
The
Iconians are parent, teacher, master, friend. They are our rulers and our gods, and I am grateful for their guidance. They give purpose and structure to our lives. We would not exist without them.
But how do they treat you?
Exceedingly well. We do what manual labor needs to be done, as well as other tasks. And in return, the Iconians give me all I could need or want. I know it might sound like enforced servitude to you, but I don't see it that way. The Iconians are our beginning and our end. I am nothing without my mistress, and serving her is my greatest joy.
I mean, we were just talking about Harry Potter.
The Iconians' affection for their pets is a weakness. We can exploit that.
I am not so sure. After all, we've seen how the Iconians will transform their pets. The Heralds are merciless killing machines. They have killed multitudes during this war.
Deaths that we will avenge here. No more waiting. We need to finish our mission.
Have you...
I don't understand why you're bothering to help these people. We need to find the gateway controls, sabotage them, and be done with it. This could all be over if you'd let it.
It is my job. It is my job to help people in need. Sela. Yeah, where's my newspaper? I've needed it so much today. Good lord.
Clearly the Iconians have a highly developed sense of the aesthetic.
That's fine, but what we need is to know more about their technology. And we're going to a park.
When you have technology as advanced as the Iconians, wonders can be found anywhere you look. We should talk to that officer over there.
I see you are interested in this device. We are testing a new method of encryption. So far, it has proven to be most effective. To access the console, you must solve a series of problems that we believe only an Iconian could answer. Unfortunately, I fear the console is stuck in a testing phase, which is why I am protecting it. It may be a waste of time. You appear intelligent enough, but I doubt you or any of our other visitors could solve even the easiest of problems in the algorithm.
I can watch it for you. Lemiran says she needs to see you.
I am not supposed to leave this area unwatched, but all of my heralds are performing other duties. And if Elmiran sent you, very well. Thank you, Traveler. I will not be long.
Shouldn't keep her waiting, Bertrand. Alright, so. How many exotic spheres are possible in 7-dimensional space? Given a population of diploid organisms that mate randomly, with 9% of the population homozygous, recessive for a particular trait, calculate the percent that are heterozygous for that trait. Alright. The Icobar have made no secret they covet our gateway technology. Unfortunately, they are a warlike species. Soon after they developed rudimentary warp drive technology, they used it to attack and enslave nearby inhabited worlds. The Ikobar have also made several attempts to covertly access our consoles and steal our technology. Although officially we are not at war, we should be extremely cautious with the Ikobar. Access to gateways is strictly off limits for them, and a herald would be assigned to monitor all movements of their representatives in areas near gateway access points. The Denisians have made repeated requests for medical technology. Our analysis of their biomedical ethics, however, indicate their primitive level of development. They have an 84.6% chance of doing themselves harm with genetic engineering, and a 74.2% chance to use it for biological warfare. Thus far, their dealings have been honorable, but a plague on the world has increased their demands for our gene manipulators. Our recommendation is to continue to supply them with medical supplies and antigens, but to withhold the medical technology.
It is just as I surmised. The Iconians are following their own version of the Prime Directive. They are attempting to protect lesser developed species from acquiring technology that they may not use wisely or well.
Yeah, that seems to be true.
Not so fast. We've only heard one side of the story. I'd like to know what some of the other visitors here think about the oh-so-noble Iconians.
And yeah, did you catch that they have a Prime Directive, but it's not a, we're hands off forever, screw you. It's more of a, we'll help you, but we won't uplift you, which makes a little bit more sense in general.
We will gladly give you the medicines you require, but our genetic engineering technology is off limits.
The medicine will help with this plague, but what about the next one? We need the ability to take care of ourselves, but you won't give us the means to do so.
I am sorry, but we have extremely stringent rules about who can use our technology. There are many species who are not yet ready to use our gifts safely and wisely. One moment, Volkar. Yes? May I help you?
Yeah, I think you're right to restrict access. Like, these are interesting options here. One of them is, these people are trying to survive. They need that tech, and I wouldn't blame them if they try to take it by force. Next one is, technology belongs to those who can either create it or take it by force. I've never understood the need to protect people who are perfectly capable of knowing what they want. Next one is, our people have a similar policy, but those sequencers could help them. You should give it to them. Or, Gadur.
Yes, I will take your opinion under advisement, but ultimately, this is an Iconian matter. You are simply another visitor on our world.
I'll leave you to it then. A lot of heralds walking around here.
We haven't made much headway trying to reverse engineer the gateways, but just imagine what we could do with it.
I mean, you could do a lot. Those are ridiculously high-level tech.
Oh, I have. You could move an army in the blink of an eye. Think about what would happen if all these heralds just showed up on your planet. Oh, they'd take over in a day. I'm still trying to acquire some of their data. Have you had any luck yet?
Nothing yet. Despite all their openness and hospitality, the Iconians have everything on lockdown. I can't even get near the building where they keep the world hard without some herald stopping me. If I were the Iconians, I too would think twice about giving people like these advanced technology.
I mean, agreed.
This doesn't prove anything. So the Iconians had their reasons for withholding technology. I don't care, and neither do their enemies. We know the bombardment is imminent. This world will be obliterated, no matter how much you sympathize with the Iconians. And don't forget what we're here to do. There can be no survivors.
Are you seeing a bit of yourself in these people, Sela? I shouldn't poke her like that. Multiple armadas showing up.
Tell your ships to drop into orbit above the polar region. My ship is cloaked there.
Dreadnought, go ahead and do what he just said.
Excuse me, but I require assistance.
Yes?
We have lost contact with several of our colony worlds. I am attempting to increase the range of this communications console to re-establish the connection. But I need another set of hands to adjust the frequency while I attempt to dial in the proper network levels. All of my heralds are currently working on the evacuation. Would you be willing to help me?
I'll see what I can do to assist you. I mean, honestly, I am actually with you on that, Loke. The problem here, the real issue we're having, is that by mere virtue of being here, we have effectively committed to altering history. Right? So if we've already decided to take that step, then we should probably try to alter it for the better, not the worse. Because no matter what we're doing, we're fundamentally changing everything forever, right? There you go.
Curious. Our communications should be reaching the colonies, but I am not receiving any response to my messages. Something terrible must have happened. We were not concerned about the lesser races. Not at first. They were like children who wanted things they could not understand. It was our duty to protect them, to guide them. In time, when they were ready, we would have shared all of our gifts.
So what do you do now?
I do not know. If the colony worlds have fallen, then I am sorry. Please excuse me. I must speak to our leaders.
Best of luck to you.
We already know the evacuation did not save them.
But the gateway on New Romulus remained active for a time.
Then we must cut off that path, now, before anyone escapes.
Welcome, traveler. I apologize for my earlier absence. Do you have questions about our world?
Who's attacking you?
We have had contact with many worlds in our journeys, but we have found no people equal to our own. Some of the others resent the blessings our people enjoy. They seek to take that which we will not give.
How do you intend to respond?
While we are an extremely advanced world, we are not, in general, a militant one. Tiket will coordinate the defense, but I remain hopeful that we can reach a peaceful solution before blood is shed. Matara speaks for us, and she is quite a gifted diplomat. If all else fails, there are places known only to us and those who serve us. Our gateways can take us to these refuges, to recover and rebuild. Will you help us?
The Q should be around. The Dominion definitely are not.
The attack is beginning. I thought we'd have more time. We must retrieve the World Heart and escape. Will you help us?
I feel like I already said this, but yes.
The attack is beginning. We must decide how to proceed. I have spoken to these people, walked their streets, shared their meals. Regardless of what we know they will do in the future, the Iconians of this time are not evil. They are peaceful. And they are guilty of no crimes, worse than standing up for their ideals. The very same ideals, I might point out, as the Federation's prime directive.
Really wish you'd stop pointing to that. It's not in their favor, okay? I know you think it is, but it super is not.
You have walked the same streets as I, spoken to the same people. Can you allow them to die for crimes they have not yet committed? For my part, I find no honor in cold-blooded murder.
Which is a valid perspective. I mean, ultimately. What do you think, Sela?
It doesn't matter what these people are now. We know what they will become.
what they will do. The Iconians will destroy my homeworld. They will bomb the archive in the Lena system and exterminate the Preservers. They will incite the Undine to destroy Keswick 4. They will attack our homeworlds, kill those we love, and threaten our very existence.
In the future, but not now.
And that changes nothing. We know what will happen. In our time, they are poised to destroy or enslave the galaxy. There is no choice. We destroy them now and save ourselves.
So, you're choosing to have the right to execute people for crimes they have yet to commit.
It's a bit late for second thoughts. Our mission is clear. We don't have a choice. We're here, and we will do what needs to be done. Atone for your sins after you've saved the galaxy.
Now, she has...
The World Heart contains all of our knowledge and all our genetic data. With it, we can rebuild. We have a refuge built for those who serve us. We shall go there.
She has a point, but the biggest problem is something she already mentioned.
Access the gateway network from here. We could disable all of the gateways at once.
She is poisoned.
There is no honor in striking down an ally from behind.
The honorable thing would be to complete our mission and save our galaxy. Or do you not care about what happens to Kronos?
Ham. The problem is she's completely poisoned by her mentality, and she's already said it. They destroyed my homeworld. She mentions other things, but notice that's the first thing she mentions when it comes to these people. And yeah, of course, what we're seeing here is the typical, the angel and the devil, but instead it's not actually really good and evil in the traditional sense. And of course, both of them are appealing to the same thing, emotion. Looks a little less amber than the last time I was in here. And yeah, she no longer blames Spock. She blames the Iconians, which makes sense. They did do it. So, you know, there's a logic to that.
We need to transfer the World Heart to a transportable format. I'll need your help to initiate the download from that console.
Okay.
The download is proceeding, but it will not complete before the invaders find us.
Speaking of which, let me pull up a portal to the sun. It's okay, it's Iconian tech. I mean, in all honesty, we probably have some experience with Iconian tech at this point. So. But yeah, no, she even gave a whole speech about how much she was pissed off at Spock for failing her. We even saw a bit of an audio log from Spock, which actually makes no sense, but whatever.
Now we need to release the magnetic interlocks holding the core. I need you at the other console.
You got it. Light has nothing to do with healing, no.
They must not take the World Heart.
If you mean the element of light, which is what I'm assuming you mean. If you mean light as in what most people mean, well, that doesn't exist.
Erase the mainframe memory banks. I will require your assistance.
Oh god, that would be funny, Kay. I've been thinking about making a portal to the sun. That's a great... How did you get that? Well, you see. Also, that staff you're wielding, that's just brilliant. Yeah, I'm pretty fond of it.
More aliens are coming. Protect me.
You know, even my niece has to say please. This is Lemiran. Yeah, sorry. Making sure I'm getting the names right. Yes, light magic makes a portal to the sun. So, the element of light...
Mainframe memory erased. The last step is to eject the World Heart.
You know what? Ask me later, Mr. Red. This is kind of a big moment. We're in Taurus right now. So, there it is.
I fear that was just the beginning of the violence. My people are few, and most of our heralds are elsewhere. Defeating a significant force would be costly to both sides. I know you are not one of the whole, and I have no right to ask for your assistance. But would you help us evacuate the city?
Of course.
Blessings of the whole upon you. We must gather as many of our people as possible and escort them to the gateway platform. Once we are there, I will open the path to our refuge. Many of our people already left for Colony Worlds, but we have lost contact with them. I fear the worst.
What should we do first?
I recommend we locate Tiket. She is our protector, and there are none who know the ways of our enemy as well as she. Tiket is a fearsome warrior and has kept our people safe for countless millennia, until today.
Rescuing Iconians is not what we're here to do.
That's not what you're here to do.
Perhaps it is. When we came back in time, we did not know what we would find.
And yeah, there's a reason I keep calling this the Legion of STO. This is the conclusion of the story arc that had been going on for, what, 6 years at this point? Nice staff, but mine's better.
I appreciate your efforts, stranger, but I cannot come with you. I will defend Iconia until my final breath.
Your people are dying, Tiket. They need you.
My people are weak. They have neglected the ways of battle in favor of science and art. They are philosophers. I do not wish for them to die, but they could have chosen the path of strength. I will die to defend them. I do not know if I can save them.
I mean, your people are a lot stronger than you give them credit.
I appreciate your efforts, stranger, but I cannot...
You know,
I will defend...
You need to set aside your foolish pride and actually help your people.
You think it is pride that keeps me here? It is not for pride that I fight, but for dignity. I fight for my people.
Okay.
I appreciate your efforts, stranger, but
I'm gonna have to go with the vengeance line, aren't I? Damn it. Alright, fine.
Breath.
If you die, who claims vengeance for the fallen?
Your words have merit. If we go to the refuge, we can rebuild. There, we can plan our vengeance. No one will ever threaten us again.
You're supposed to be thinking about your people, not your revenge.
She is a fool. She would let her people die so she could avenge them.
Yeah, Tiket was always problematic.
Powerful weapon.
Of course, Sela approves of Tiket, because of course she would. And I'm not even being facetious. Sela has really only had one thing driving her for the last, probably about 30 years at this point. Vengeance. First it was against the people...
Never forget this tragic day.
Who took her from her position. Then it was against Spock for failing her, you know, her homeworld. And now it's against the Iconians. I mean, in my defense, if literally any other option would have worked, I would have picked it, Kay, but, you know, railroading.
Thank you. You have shown exceptional kindness and valor in this trying time. I will miss my home. Iconia is precious to us, but as long as the whole survives, we can use the world heart to rebuild.
Yeah, sorry about killing you in the future, Matara. You seem more reasonable than some. You know, I've been using Iconian weapons this whole time, but never has it felt so appropriate as in this mission.
These are not a warlike people.
Not yet. That will change.
Bloodshed affects everyone differently.
It's true.
My people became warriors when an alien species threatened our home.
And the Iconians will become conquerors.
I wonder what the Romulans became. Honestly, yes, Loke. We probably could actually stop this attack by ourselves if we really wanted to. Even in lore. We have 3 top-of-the-line Jem'Hadar Klingon. Whoa! What was that? Jem'Hadar Klingon and Federation starships that are veterans of multiple conflicts at this point. With really advanced tech, which is geared towards militaristic ends.
We've won their confidence, gathered them together. Strike now, and we can eliminate them all.
So there's 4 options we can pick here. I will not kill defenseless innocents. End statement. I've decided to spare the Iconians. We cannot hold them responsible for acts they haven't committed yet. It's too dangerous to change the past. We have to let them live. We must wait until the last minute for our betrayal so they have no chance to escape. I'm gonna go with my gut. I have decided to spare them. Sorry, Sela. We're already changing history. Like I said, we've committed that. We've walked into that. That's where we are. We might as well change it and try to change it for the better instead of knowingly changing it for the worse. Oh yeah, and I'm not sparing you either, Sela.
Gateway is damaged.
What?
You will need to reroute the power and reinitialize the Gateway Open sequence.
So I hope you've been paying attention. Earlier, while the Iconians were talking unguardedly, all 11 of them, or whatever, they mentioned that they would have all died if not for the other.
Didn't the others save the Iconians? Where are they?
They may already be here.
Honestly, I actually forgot that they called that out there. So, my apologies. Didn't mean to be redundant.
Well,
We can't hold them off or...
That's it. Send them through.
No! This isn't our mission!
Sela's, of course, a terrible shot.
You took everything from me!
The World Heart.
There's no time. The gateway is closing.
Only 12 of us are left.
Sorry, 12.
That crystal contains our civilization.
Sela, stop! We are better than this!
I will remember this, Romulan. I will extinguish your people in payment for your treachery.
This has all played out this way before.
Duh.
I am the cause for Hobus.
Yep. Congrats. Give me that, first of all.
I know what you are going to say, but I did what I had to do for my people. I should have acted sooner. If I had, perhaps Romulus would have been restored.
You're an idiot.
That can't... Taket! What have I done?
We can say a couple things here. We could say this is a predestination paradox. We can say, you're lucky it didn't turn out to be worse. You can say, I hope you take this painful lesson to heart. We can also say, you have always been out for yourself, and now you see the result of your selfishness.
The Iconians have fled to Dewa 3, and the Gateway's console has been destroyed, so no one can follow them. Our fate may not have changed from our actions here, but we have done what honor demanded. We are not murderers. Whatever our future may hold, we will face it with our eyes open and our heads held high. We must return to our own time and see what effect our actions had.
Spoilers, no change whatsoever.
We're initiating a tachyon burst to reopen the portal that brought us here.
Because we can just do that.
That should bring us back to the exact moment we left the present time.
I mean, Seela's not stupid. She's just really, really blind. Always has been.
The heralds are firing on the portal!
The portal is destabilizing! Hurry!
Captain Cogran to Alliance Fleet. Stand down. I repeat, stand down.
Weird bug.
You have the World Heart and the means to end this. Signal the Iconians. Show them we have it, and that we are the ones who saved them. This is our last chance to end this war.
Do you wish to surrender? A wise decision.
No, Lemirin. We have just returned from the past. Your past. And we have the World Heart to prove it.
How did you acquire that?
We saved it. When Iconia was lost.
That is not possible. But yet, I see the World Heart in your hands. It is time to end this. Your leaders. Our unity. Now.
Wait. Okay. Lemirin.
If what you say is true, then that core contains all of the lost knowledge of our people. So much that we thought was lost forever. Will you return all the remains of our civilization to us?
Some people have questioned this choice. Let's be very clear. This is the only choice. There is no other decision that can be made here. I actually rather like this. It's messed up, but for reasons I'll get into in a minute, and because the general idealism of what Star Trek means, to me, like, we've talked a lot about what is Star Trek, right? This came up a lot as we discussed the Trek rewrite. And there's a lot of things that a lot of people have given a lot of answers to, but this is very Star Trek. Someone asked earlier how we could possibly beat the Iconians. The answer? We can't. We never could.
I have never had a chance to examine you closely, but now that you stand before me, I remember you helped us, although it gained you nothing. You are the other.
And this war should have never happened.
Hate blinded us. Fear of the unknown crippled us. Pain called out for blood in ever greater measures. The events of that day set us on this path. It grieves me to see where it has led. After we escaped to Daewar 3, protecting ourselves became our sole purpose. We transformed ourselves, our whole, even our heralds, to prevent another tragedy. And we vowed never to trust again.
You trusted me once.
I did, and it saved us. But we believed the other lost to us. And you were lost to time. And we preserved the whole by any means necessary.
And you have destroyed countless lives.
Indeed. We protected the whole against the lesser species who would destroy us if given a chance. Who would steal what we would not give freely. And we did not mourn the deaths of those who were not a part of our unity. And then we faced you, a foe who would not yield, who subverted time itself in an attempt to destroy us. But instead, you showed compassion, even though you knew what would happen to your people if we survived. You helped us, because that is who you are.
I don't know what to add to that. Starfleet's mission is and always has been to be, not to destroy.
I am humbled in the face of such integrity. I shall be forever grateful to you for showing us the error of our ways.
Enough blood has been spilled. Far too much blood has been spilled. Let's end the war.
No, I will not accept this. Whatever these creatures did in the past is meaningless. They took my arm. They killed our sister. They broke our unity. And for that, I will destroy them.
Have you forgotten what we did for your people? For you, personally?
I will never forget what you have done, or what that creator, Eureka, did. There will never be enough blood to wash away my need for vengeance.
Sheila was grieving for the loss of her homeworld. The homeworld you destroyed. You already had your revenge.
A single world. I can destroy 1,000,000 worlds, and it would not be enough. Your existence is an insult to the memory of our people. I will continue my fight, even if I must fight alone.
No, Tiket, please.
She will not listen. Tiket has always been very stubborn. In a few thousand years, perhaps, her attitudes will change. Until then, be wary. Tiket is a formidable opponent, and I will not take up arms against her, even in defense of the other. But with those of us who remain, you shall have peace. We ask only for our homeworld. Leave Iconia and our servants undisturbed, and we will trouble you no longer. I understand, but our terms are not negotiable. We need time to breathe and contemplate. Perhaps in a millennia or two, it will be different.
Farewell. Farewell. Hey, let me do the Picard maneuver with my armor. Hold up. Well, we will actually bring up Ticket later. But, yeah. I need to AFK very briefly because I am out of water and it's 1,000,000,000,000 degrees in here. I might go no code again today. It might just become the norm because holy crap. But anyways, I'll be right back.
I thought this was it. The last day. And I was ready, but I'm glad my daughter didn't have to die in defense of the Federation. That I get to go home after this. We all do. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sure the billions who, died are not super happy about that, but what can we do?
We have much to do, but first, we will celebrate. Let the blood wine flow now that the bloodletting has ceased. There is more to being a warrior than vengeance and death. True honor comes from doing what is right, despite the personal cost. The Iconians will depart, and we will rebuild. Mercy has triumphed where weapons could not. Now I will try to find a way to share this wisdom with my people. Many warriors have fallen in this war. Those of us who remain must walk the path of honor.
Right. I should probably mention, some people are upset about this because they think the Iconians need to be punished or attacked or whatever. I don't mean to overstate this, but let's be clear. The Iconians granted us mercy. The Iconians decided to let us go and stop trying to wipe out the galaxy. We're not in a position to cast judgment. This isn't the Dominion War where we happen to have a founder who is at our mercy. They're dictating terms here.
Your compassion has accomplished more in one act than we could have with all the phasers in the fleet. Honor and selflessness have been almost forgotten over the past few years. That needs to change. It's time to act like Starfleet officers again. We have a lot to do to heal the wounds the war has left on us all. But we've survived the Borg and the Dominion. We can survive this.
I agree.
There's a lot of work to be done now. We need to rebuild, recover, try to learn how to live in this new reality. But with people like you on our side, I know we can do it.
We'll succeed if we work together. We always do. Sela.
I don't know what to say. I thought I was protecting our future. But instead, all this... It happened because of a mistake I made hundreds of thousands of years ago. I've made a lot of difficult choices in my life. And I didn't always consider the consequences of my actions. Today has made me wonder if there's another way. If I can be better than I am.
We could ask your mother about that. Yeah, Sela... I'm going to stay quiet about her for right now.
The war is over. Although we could not turn back the clock and restore the lives that were lost and the planets that were ravaged, we have ended the conflict honorably. You made the right choice. And that is not always an easy one to make. I would be honored to fight by your side again. Before that day comes, however, we must rebuild. There is already talk of new exploration missions. Perhaps we will find our next challenge among the unexplored stars.
So that was in many ways the end of Star Trek Online. Don't mistake me, there's more stuff, and there's even good stuff. That's what I thought. But that was something they'd been building up to for literal years, and that was the payoff there too. Now, here's the catch. One of the problems World of Warcraft had after Legion, well, actually it had like 7 problems, but let's talk about the 2 big ones. One is they lost a lot of their core staff, a lot of the directors, writing team, and let's call it what it is, the mainliner for WoW, all left. So a lot of people left, but let's ignore that for a moment, because the big question was, now what? Now, you could continue a story after a story has concluded. What I mean by that is actually more accurately, there's a lot of different ways to have stories keep going. You could go in a different direction entirely. You could actually follow through with a now what arc, like the Thrawn trilogy. You could have it focus on new people and new arcs, maybe new direction, try to examine new concepts. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. World of Warcraft came out with BFA, and all that means. STO did something strange. Now, I actually thought about doing this mission in a much different place, but I think it works out okay right here.
We've detected an anomaly in the Azure Nebula. Because of the Tholian activity in that area, we're concerned that they may be attempting to open a rift to the mirror universe. I need a ship to go out there and check it out.
You got it. Some of you may or may not remember this is a mission from quite a while ago, actually. But they moved it here to make it the beginning of the temporal arc. And I'm not sure what I think of that. But I mention this because this was actually the first mission Denise Crosby voiced. It was actually one of the anniversary missions that they added. So I mentioned how there was like one last proviso. This is it. Everything after this point will be new content. We will finally be over that last final hurdle. And yeah, it's probably telling that the next arc is fighting the Temporal War. Not the Cold War, the hot one. And the arc after that is the Klingon Civil War. And the arc after that is the Terran War. So... MMO's got an MMO, I guess. Although, it's kind of a shame because we know that they can actually do non-combat focused missions in this game, and they have. They've done some good stuff with it, too. Oh yeah, I always forget that step. I don't know why. There's also the Zinkethi problem, aka the DS9 arc. So, I do think it's clever what they did with this, but we'll see how much it holds up. Because again, this is an old quest. A stitch in time. So let's investigate this weird anomaly. There's like a Tholian ship and... Oh, it's gone. Hang on. Oh, here we go. So there's like this weird anomaly over here, and there's a... Is that a Federation vessel? Oh, hang on. So like, there's like this weird anomaly over here. And there's a D7 battle cruiser coming out of it? That's weird. Well, anyways. So, there's this anomaly over here. And that's an antique. That's an old ambassador class. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Oh well. Let's go ahead and scan the sucker. This is the freighter Dreadnought, requesting permission to dock at Tholian base. Permission granted. You are authorized for docking bay 3. Greetings from beautiful Ryza. I hate doing these long cargo runs. I could use some frickin' soup after all this nonsense. Maybe a little bit of extra bread on the side. I think I've earned that much. Ah, Franklin.
Do you have a question?
Who are you again?
My name is Franklin Drake. I was born on a little colony world on the edge of Cardassian space. After the Federation fell to the Klingons, a lot of people moved out of the war zones to try to make new lives. It worked. For a while. When the Bajorans discovered that wormhole and the Dominion invaded, no world, no matter how remote, was safe. I signed on to help fight the Dominion, for all the good that did. The Dominion swallowed the Bajorans whole, and then joined up with the Breen and the Cardassians to destroy the Klingons and the Romulans. After that, it was just a matter of carving up the Alpha Quadrant. The Tholians got this piece of space in exchange for signing a non-aggression pact with the Dominion. It wasn't hard to see that the only way to survive was to sign on. Now I'm like you. I work for the Tholians, and in exchange I get a cot, a couple of replicated meals, and the chance to live for one more day. With a little luck, I'll get through tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I don't mind hauling freight, but oh god, some of those longer trips really kill me.
Do you need anything else? Thank you, Captain. The Tholian Assembly appreciates your loyalty. So many ship captains threw away their lives needlessly in the days after they annexed this area of space. It'll take a few hours to offload your cargo. Feel free to grab a hot meal in the commissary. I know that comforts can be hard to come by in this sector. I recommend the plomeek soup. It almost tastes like something.
Oh.
Do you need anything else?
I do like me some hot soup. Let's see what we can get up here. Do I know you? You look familiar. No, I haven't been to any other work camps in this sector. By the way, this is my primary comms officer, if it's not obvious. It's whoever your primary comms officer is. Sorry to break character there for a second.
Hello.
Deton?
For all I know, you could be informing on me to the Tholians. But if I don't answer, you'll probably tell them I'm hiding something. Fine. My name is Deton. I was born on Romulus. After the war, I signed on to a freighter crew working the Bolian run. My captain got in trouble with the Tholians, and I ended up here. I'm a true and loyal servant of the Tholians, and I don't want any trouble. Now go away and leave me alone. I have work to do. Don't bother me.
Okay, Jesus, I was just trying to make small talk. They don't even allow me to have my hollows on the ship. Do you know how many games of Tetris I've played in the last week alone? Christ. And it's not the good Tetris, it's that stupid Tholian Tetris. Ugh. Hello, Slamek.
It's too bright in here.
So I was lying. We actually get to see Slamek one more time. Kind of. But obviously this doesn't really count.
Why? Why would you care about me? No one cares about me. I don't even care anymore. Go away. Go away. And leave me alone.
Sorry, buddy. Jeez. Does nobody want to have a conversation? Excuse me, Morn? Oh, Morn, thank God. Tell me a tale, Morn. Oh, I needed that. So here's another one of my crew members. Now, this is new. I've never done this when this was Garrick. This was always the Cardassian ambassador, which I suppose it makes sense that it's Garrick. It just didn't even occur to me until 5 seconds ago.
Have we met?
I think he's not replaced in the voice acting, though.
You're just asking to be polite, aren't you?
Yep, that's Rugal.
I find idle chatter so tedious these days. Still, it's a way to pass the time. My name is Rugen Skyle. I used to be a member of the Cardassian government until I had a conflict with a rival faction. Politics on my world can be quite cutthroat. Now I'm here. It's better than execution, but only just. The food here is terrible, and the company is worse.
I just wanted to have a... Okay, fine.
Another question?
What's your name?
How can I assist you? I'm Valkel Shawn, captain of the Belfast.
Oh, nice.
I run freight for the Tholians. Basic supplies, mostly. But once in a while, they need me to pick up dilithium from the mines on Remus. We're in dock here for a few days getting some repairs done. Cut too close to the Konos blast zone on my last trip back and ran into some raiders. They won't trouble anyone again. But they fused half my power conduits and fried the deflector before I managed to take them out.
Damn. I'm glad you're still here.
If there's anything else you need, let me know.
A Vulcan?
Yes. My name is Tanae, and for many years I served in Starfleet. After the war was lost, I joined a resistance movement attempting to liberate the core worlds. We failed. We were able to keep the Klingons at bay, but not the Dominion and their allies. After the Breen destroyed Earth and the Dominion occupied Betazed, continued resistance was illogical. Against all reason, we continued our fight as our resistance cells fell, one by one. You might say I was one of the fortunate ones. I survived. I would not agree. Do you require anything else?
I'm just saying hi, being neighborly. Surely you've got to be better than that Slamek gentleman.
I will be free. My name is Obasek. Once my people served the Romulans. Now we have new masters. I will serve for now, because to refuse would be my death. But when the time is right, we'll rise up against our oppressors and destroy them. If you would be free, watch for an opportunity. The Tholians will show their weakness soon enough.
I don't want everything to deal with that, okay? I'm mostly just worried about getting my ship prepared and getting up on a next run before the Tholians start crawling up my backside about it.
Do not waste my time.
This place isn't what it's supposed to be.
I'm sorry, what?
My name is Neelan.
I'm an Alorian. Some people would call me a wanderer. I go from place to place, listening to the universe, to the people, and then I look at you and this place and I can't explain it, but it's wrong. All of it. You're not supposed to be here. None of us are.
Dude, I just wanted a thing of soup.
Something's not... I can't see it clearly. I just know that something is wrong. That woman over there. Does she have a daughter? Someone named Sela.
Who?
I know that's important, but there are a lot of other things. I'm sorry, it's difficult to put into words. What I can tell you is that if someone asks for your help, give it. That will set things right.
Whatever.
What do you want?
Hey, it's Bavat. Holy crap.
My name is Bavat. Before the Tholians conquered the Empire, I was the leader of a great house. I sat on the High Council and spoke for the Empire on more than a dozen worlds. None of that matters now. The past is nothing to a slave. I will die here in service to the Tholians, just like you will. Ask your questions!
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Barrack?
You looking for something?
This is the one we killed, by the way.
I'm Farrick. Wheeling and dealing is my game. At least it was, until the webheads put a stop to any trade that doesn't benefit them. Still, I know how to get a few things. You looking for bonus replicator rations? Maybe a bottle of authentic pre-war Romulan ale? If you've got something to trade, I've got what you need.
I sincerely doubt that. No, I don't want any more rash. I mean, look how skinny my character is. Now you're probably thinking, oh my god, you made your character so skinny. No, this actually isn't as skinny as it probably seems. The reason I look so weird is easier to explain if you look at me alongside someone who is a normal height. The way they do the height in this game is they literally just stretch everything taller. Like, you see how I'm not actually any, skinnier than the woman standing next to me? That's why it looks so weird. It looks better in the armor. Who are you?
We need your help.
I'm sorry, what?
My name is Tasha Yar. I was Chief Tactical Officer of the USS Enterprise D. In my timeline, we were fighting a war against the Klingons, and I was proud to do my part to protect the Federation. What I learned, though, in the correct timeline, history as it should be, I died a meaningless death. I accepted the risks when I put on the uniform, and I don't regret what happened. But if I'm going to die, I want it to mean something.
Okay, this
That's why I
camp...
chose to go back with the Enterprise C.
This camp is just filled with crazies. I don't want to deal with this nonsense. Where's my frickin' soup? Oh, can I at least put my feet up for a bit? Okay, Tholian Lieutenant. Can I have... Okay. When do you get my ration? Humanoid Dietary Supplement 47, please.
I haven't seen you around here before, Captain.
Wait, did you actually address my freaking rank? Holy crap.
Got a minute to talk?
Who are you?
Call me Castillo. Not a lot to tell, I guess. I'm Lieutenant J.G. Richard Castillo, Helm Officer of the USS Enterprise C, an unwilling time traveler.
Oh my god, enough with the time travel. There's no time travel.
I'm Senior Officer now that Captain Garrett and the rest of the senior staff are gone. I've got to do what the Captain would want. Get us back to where we belong. And finish what we set out to do. I know this is hard to accept, but we're not supposed to be here.
Dude, no, I checked. I double checked. This one time, I actually ended up putting in at the wrong port. They did not like that at all. I've never making that mistake again, I'll tell you what.
I know. I asked around about you, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you this, but I need your help. You're not supposed to be here. None of us are. Not in this timeline, I mean. My ship, my crew. We were supposed to do something important. We went through an anomaly, moved through time, and everything changed. We tried to go back. I guess the battle with the Klingons disrupted the anomaly. Instead of getting back where we belong, we ended up here with the Tholians running everything. I'd never even seen a Tholian before. You have to help us set things right. You have to help us get back to our ship.
What are you talking about? Who's us? Can I have my soup? They gave me a chocolate bar.
Me and my crew. There are a little over 100 of us here, scattered throughout the work camp. We're about 65 years ahead of where we should be, according to my math. We were fighting the Romulans. This was back in 2344. And the weapons discharges caused a temporal rift. We passed through. And because we weren't at Narendra to do what we were supposed to do, the timeline changed. We ended up in a timeline where the Federation and the Klingon Empire were at war. And the Federation was losing, badly. We tried to go back to set things right. But then the Klingons found us and the Enterprise D, and there's someone here with us from that timeline. Her name is Tasha. I'll take you to her. Maybe she can help explain this.
Can I at least eat while we walk? I mean, this is the most entertaining story I've heard all week. Month, for that matter. Have you seen the Tholian holonovels they're putting on right now? Oh my god. Like, I don't want to... I mean, I love the Tholians, but their fiction sucks.
We need your help.
Well, that's tough, because, my quest isn't updating. Hang on. Are you coming? No, I'm right here, dude. There you go.
Got a minute to talk?
We need you. I'm from Starfleet, and if I'm right, that's a name that should ring bells with you as well. In an alternate timeline from this one, the correct one, Starfleet is still alive and well, and you're a Starfleet officer too. When the Enterprise C moved ahead in time, it created an alternate timeline, one in which I was alive but shouldn't have been. I left with the Enterprise to set things right.
I gotta die to fix some timeline. Look, if you're gonna mug me, at least be creative about it.
We thought we were returning to the Narendra system in 2344 to defend the Klingon colony there from a Romulan attack. We ended up in this nebula in 2409. The Tholians caught us before we could try again, and you can guess the rest. We're going to try to restore the timeline, but to do so, we need the Enterprise C. It's still in the hangar here, and as soon as we get back to her, we'll find the temporal rift and get back to where and when we're supposed to be. To do that, we need your help.
I mean, I got like 6 hours before my ship's gotta go out, so I guess. What do you want from me?
Franklin Drake is already helping us. He managed to get an access key used to operate the systems in the hangar control room. We need you to get the code from Drake and use it to open the doors to the hangar control room. I'd go myself, but we've already been here a week. The Tholians know we're trying to get back to the ship. They're watching us. But you're new. They won't suspect you're involved. That's the idea, at least.
Okay.
Of course, it's not as simple as getting the code and opening the door. The Tholians have guards on all critical areas. You'll need to slip past the guards and get into the maintenance tunnels. From there, it's a winding maze to the hangar control room, which can only be unlocked from the inside. Once you get in, you'll be able to open the doors. We'll be waiting there to help you free the Enterprise.
Is this a pitch? Like, I've heard of those escape rooms. Is this something like that?
Here, take this communicator. It's on a scrambled frequency the Tholians don't monitor, and it'll allow me to contact you while you're on the move. Maybe you can convince someone to cause a distraction. That might make slipping past the guards into the tunnels easier.
Sure, that could be funny. Hey, do you want to set a distraction, Obasek?
I will be free.
No, apparently I gotta get the key first. Hang on, I'll be right back, Obasek. Give me a minute. Okay, it's not like I got anything else going on. It's gonna just take a settle, but have you ever laid down one of these Tholian bunks? Solid steel. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have back pain for the rest of my life.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, Yarn Castillo said he had to eat from here or something.
Take it. Here's a map, too.
Cool.
You'll need it in the tunnels. I still don't know why I'm risking my neck for this. Don't expect any more help from me. The Federation fell before I was born. I shouldn't even care, but there's something about Yar and Castillo. I know they believe they can make a difference. Makes me want to believe.
That's just the ale talking, buddy.
Do you need anything else?
Yeah, I need some of whatever they're smoking. Yeah, I'm not sure Tholians sleep. Never mind lie down. So, hang on. Let's go chat with this Slamek gentleman. I think he's our man. If he can't do it, every single other person can, because Slamek is terrible and awful.
It's too bright in here. Why? Why would you care about me?
Yep, okay, so Obasek.
No one cares about me.
I will be free.
Alright. This is gonna sound crazy, okay? I'm not gonna give it the full thing. I just need a diversion. We're trying to reach the control room.
Your plan is foolhardy. If you want to die, do it without my assistance.
Oh, wow, okay. I thought I was talking to Obasek, not Slamek. My bad. Excuse me.
How can I assist you?
I mean, could you make a distraction for us? I know you're already a captain, you got this whole gig going on, but...
I don't remember the Federation, or Starfleet. The war was almost over before I was born. This is the only life I know. One of servitude, deprivation, loss. I want something better. That freedom my parents and grandparents told me about. I want the Federation back. I'll help. Just tell me what you need.
Root beer. I don't know if I'd say this is simple to get into, because there's some complexity to this game, and there's some wonky, janky weirdness with this game.
Get down here, you big salt shaker!
But it is a free-to-play game with a very low barrier to entry, and you don't really need to spend money or go in-depth into the systems to actually make it work. So I'd say, yeah, go for it. Granted, I love this game, so I'm a little bit biased. So, let's see here. Ugh. This isn't helping my back any.
Well done. Those maintenance tunnels are a maze. They make navigating the Jeffries tubes on the Enterprise look easy. I recommend using the map to keep track of where you've been, what doors lead away from which room, and where you are currently.
Wow, that is a craptacular map. It's okay, I know where I'm going.
We've hit a snag. There are Tholians in the control room. When they're in there, they pump in a Tholian-friendly atmosphere and raise the temperature. It will kill us if we try to enter. You'll need to replace the methane-based atmosphere with something we can breathe and lower the ambient temperature in the control room before we can continue as planned.
Hold up. Why would they put in a system to create a hostile environment for them?
The Tholians are very precise. They want to learn everything they can about the ships they're capturing. All rooms connected to the hangars have their atmospheres exchanged to prevent damage to the systems they're dismantling for study. Also, sometimes they force humanoids to do the work for them, so they'll pump in something we can handle.
Okay. Slave labor, am I right? Excuse me, sir. He's dead, Jim. Who's Jim? Well, ask me again in a minute. We're going to get to some space combat, probably in about 5 minutes or so, and I can show that off live rather than just tell you about it. I think this is it. Close that. from Star Trek TOS. Although if you're asking the original episode, I don't actually know that off the top of my head. Oh, I know where it is. I'm going the wrong way. Hang on. My favorite time travel is in Star Trek. Yeah, the one we literally just did. Butterfly. The episode Butterfly. I've already collected the item from this crate in another timeline. Damn it! Oh well. Have fun. Jackasses. Man, that was worth it just to kill some Tholians. Hang on. I already did that. Looks like I need to go down. You can have many ships, you can have many setups. I myself run 3 ships primarily, but I've got closer to like 30. Where is it? Oh, there it is! It's at my feet. Elder Tribble, please share with me your wisdom. Listen, I'm listening to some crazy people. They're talking about timelines. I just wanted some soup that tasted like something. It is completely soloable. There is no PvP to speak of, like at all. The PvP that's in the game is awful and extraordinarily optional, and I imagine most people have never even done it. Like, there might as well be no PvP in this game. Tanae.
I've engaged the security lockouts. That will buy us a little time.
Okay. What are you good at?
My first posting in Starfleet was to an ambassador-class vessel. I am familiar with most of the ship's systems, but I spent several months working on a refit of the ship's computer. I am confident I can restore the ship's power levels quickly. Also, I do have some experience with Tholian technology from my time in the Resistance. I am here to assist.
You go do the ship stuff.
What do you require?
We don't have much time. I know a few tricks to take. We don't have much time.
We need to work together. I was the helm officer on the Enterprise before everything went to hell. But we need to work together. What do you want me to do?
I'll deal with these. Oh no, STO is in danger, but, you know, in the same way most MMOs are, effectively. So you got plenty of time to enjoy the game. Like, a couple days, something like that.
Overriding security protocols.
I'm joking. You've got time. Don't worry about it. Well, it also has a small but loyal group, which tends to help a lot of games. Are you 3 done yet? Oh my god, you're so slow.
I'm changing the targeting subroutines for the tractor beams.
The crew on my freighter was faster than this. I thought you were like Starship or... I don't remember what you called yourselves. Can we just go? Ignore the Iconian battle staff on my back. That shouldn't be visible. Just like my helmet.
Tractor beam is disabled.
Fish soup? Well, I wouldn't throw up immediately, but after a couple seconds. Mega vomit. Pea soup is okay if it's got meat in it and it's really thick. If it's
I
too
thought you
liquidy.
deactivated all the security protocols.
By the way, this is actually a nice showcasing of how big the ambassador class is, which is
You
funny.
want me to do that for you? I know a few things about force fields.
It's actually more like a medium-sized freight cruiser overall. Still, nice big thing.
Having trouble? You do know that we could have Tholians swarming us any minute, right?
You're voicing Tasha Yar, not Sela. Try to keep it straight.
I thought we took care of everything. Starfleet Protocol 547C clearly states...
I am not a part of
I don't think the
Starfleet.
Tholians have heard of Protocol 547C.
Good luck I'm even doing this. Although, I could get some really good freight runs on this ship, if I take it. No. You can change the appearance of your ship. Okay. You can change the coloring of your ship, but that's kind of it. There's very minor ship customization. I know, right? Like, there's some kind of star fleet out there filled with decent people and good folk. Whatever. This thing's got a bunch of weapons on it. Good lord, not used to all this.
Captain, I'm detecting Tholian mesh weavers headed for our position.
Well, I mean, like, in a lot of cases, you have to literally own multiple ships in order to be able to mix and match pieces between them.
Tholian orb weavers on an intercept course. Tholian recluses moving into weapons range, sir. I recommend evasive action.
What do you think I'm doing? Favorite Enterprise? In what manner? By what metric?
Tholian tarantula on sensors.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. I hit the wrong button. I meant that one. There we go. Favorite Enterprise? Well, if you're forcing me to pick, I'm going to go with the Constitution A. The Enterprise A. If you mean a ship I'd rather live on, that's the Galaxy. If you mean a ship I'd rather have control over, that's the Sovereign. What was that? That was odd, but okay.
A ship just appeared out of nowhere and destroyed that Tholian tarantula. I've never seen a ship of that configuration before, or one with that kind of firepower.
Yeah, me neither.
Looks like you could use some help.
I thought this thing was loaded for bear. Jeez. And yeah, I noticed the torpedo graphic didn't play there.
We took a hit. Phasers are partially offline. We'll need to work together to take out this last ship.
You mean the last two ships? One of which is actively trying to tractor beam me right now? Here, I'll tractor beam you back! Everyone gets tractor beams. Can't turn in this jalopy. Hey, Primarch.
The way is clear, and the temporal anomaly has been stabilized. Head for the anomaly, Enterprise. It will put you back where you need to be.
Huh?
That's my job. The details aren't important. Restoring the timeline is. Get moving. The Tholians are already starting to regroup.
Whatever. I mean, if nothing else, this will give me a good story to show with the rest of the crew. I mean, no one's ever going to believe me. Of course, the Tholians are probably going to have my hide the moment I... Hello? Where am I? What am I doing here?
I'm sure you've realized by now, you're part of a very different timeline. This one is an aberration that we are here to correct. It would be irresponsible of us to let you go back in time with the Enterprise C, and compromise that timeline as well.
So what are you going to do with me, then?
We'll send you back to your time. There are still some very important events in the 25th century that you need to be a part of.
Yeah, I kind of already did that. Not that I know about that.
As soon as the Enterprise C returns to its correct place in history, the timeline should right itself.
Well, how will I know if... Aha, I'm in beautiful Ryza. Where'd the anomaly go? Whatever. Not my problem.
There wasn't anything there. That's strange.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, I got a few new duty officers after that one. I'm thinking about hitting the holodeck after this. They're making an Iconian War holonovel, and apparently, like, I'm in it, but, like, way sexier than I actually look in real life. I hear they got Brad Pitt to play me. Or is it Chris Pratt? I can never get those two straight. Okay, if it's not obvious, I do enjoy that mission. It's obviously problematic. It's an old quest, and it shows. So, I do actually rather enjoy the overall idea. It played with the concepts, and it kind of slid things in neatly, right? Well, yeah, that's why Angelina Jolie's going to be there, too, Mike Tomato. She's going to be like, pose. Whip the hair about dramatically. I'll show the Iconians what we in the Federation think of them. Dramaticness. I think they need to get a new director, personally, but that's just me. I can, Hayne, but give me a moment before I do that. Give me a moment. Let's see. Do you know Star Trek? Are you familiar with Star Trek? And yeah, I actually used that ambassador ship for a while just because it was a nice ship. Okay, you don't know what Star Trek is. Well, in that case, I'll just pick for you. No, we'll do it over here. We'll do a red alert really quick. We got Tholians. Borg or Tholians? Let's do Tholians. Nobody wants to fight Borg, am I right? Wow, that's actually taking longer than I thought it would. I figured we'd already have the pop-up. So I have a very nice ship. Like a very nice ship. You asked about customizations. You can customize your ship, your weapons, your consoles, your warp core, your deflector, your engines, your bridge officers, your duty officers, your traits, your specialization. I think that's everything. Oh, Jesus, hang on. Oh, yeah, hang on. Let's not die here. Let's not die. There we go. I mean, Borg's a quick one, but honestly, I have found that the Tholian one is a much easier and much quicker overall, especially if you just burn all your cooldowns right at the beginning. Yeah, are the combat mechanics hard? I'll let you decide. See if I die any times during this. You said it, Tholian. Can I get the translator fixed? I'm just getting static. Yeah, the Borg and Tholian red alerts are piss easy. That's why everyone does them. They literally take seconds. Like, I'm surprised this is taking us as long as it already is currently. The Borg one could take a while just because most of the Borg ships are literally like 20 clicks from each other, so travel time slows it down. Hey, Storyteller Wes. Yeah, it's actually funny. I myself have spoken about the fact that the Borg are some of the meanest enemies in the game. But, you know, they're still one of the easiest things in several ways. I mean, there's a reason everyone uses ICE as the way to test builds and just mash out marks or whatever. If you look in the lower right, you'll see the actual buttons I'm hitting, of which I have several. Those are my abilities from my boss, my abilities from my captain, my abilities from my specialization, and my abilities from my consoles. I think the Borg would crush the Dominion like an eggshell. Like an empty eggshell. The moment the Dominion get the attention of the Borg, they're dead. This, unfortunately, is literally never addressed in universe, and that sucks. Oh, it is ISE. I was right. But let's be honest with ourselves. The Dominion have got nothing on the Borg. And we're done. That's a good question, Storyteller West. If you ask me, I'd say yes. But we never actually got a definitive answer to that, so who knows? What am I raising right now? It's like Dyson. Oh yeah, no, like, if you've played an MMO, you probably have an idea of how to do combat in this game. There's buttons, you hit them, there you are. So, next quest. So there's a cutscene we don't see where we meet Daniels. Remember him? And Daniels recruits us to be a temporal agent.
We've detected significant temporal activity in the Galorndon core system, circa the 23rd century. I'm going to investigate it, and I'd like you to join me. We believe the Nakul are involved, along with a planet killer. A doomsday machine. If so, we need to stop them at all costs.
Hold up.
I'll provide your ship with holographic camouflage. It's best if the Romulans of that time don't see a vessel from the future.
Well, whatever. Let's go check it out. Yeah, this is a weird jump in the story because we've talked about it. Yeah, there's a Death Star there. And yes, Yada, that's terrifying. Well, thank you, Storyteller West. And I hope you have fun making your blog. You know, of all the many things STO has explained, I'm surprised they've never actually explained what's up with the Doomsday devices. They've had so many opportunities to explain them. They use them 3 times that I'm aware of. Including this one. We're up to number 2. There's going to be a 3rd one later. They've never explained them. Damn, that beats me, Storyteller was. Unless you count videos, in which case... We don't talk about how many videos I've made over the last 11 years. Meanwhile, in the past... Alright.
Thank you. I've also transmitted files that will establish your cover identity as Tal Shiar security operatives. You'll need to put this data into their local network before entering the research facility, however. There's a comms satellite nearby that you can use to accomplish this.
I was talking, Daniels. I do know how to run a cube farm, Yada. First thing you do is you burn it to the ground and never use a cube farm again. Tips for a new player? Play Federation. That's my biggest tip. There's reasons for that, but rather than just go into it, make a Federation character. Oh, also, don't be afraid to rebind stuff. I actually have rebound my keys quite a bit. So just kind of play around with something that feels comfortable with you. I have Q and E, which change my thrust here. And then I use WASD, well, actually, mostly A and D, in order to actually turn the ship like this. Let's hope the Tal Shiar's reputation keeps us above suspicion. I would agree with that, Admiral Murphy. But like I said, for a brand new player, don't mind me.
Tal Shiar vessel, cease all sensor scans of the device immediately. You do not have the proper clearance.
Watch your tone, cool. We'll respect your wishes. For now. This is the third time I've been at Tal Shiar. Q is technically in the game, but no, Q is not in the game. He shows up every Christmas due to the Christmas event.
IRW Moreri. This is Galorndon Station Command. Please transmit your security credentials.
Acknowledged. Transmitting now.
Data received, Moreri. Welcome to Galorndon Core. Sending you transporter coordinates now. I've taken the liberty of informing Commander Chulak. I'm sure the director will want to greet you personally.
I'm looking forward to it. Moreri out. Well, let's beam down.
Doomsday machines seek and destroy planetary bodies,
oh my God,
consuming what remains as fuel.
Look at us.
And yet, there's one in orbit just sitting there, peacefully. It looks like reports of the Nakul gaining the ability to control the machines are accurate. We need to find out how, and fast. Your holographic disguises should conceal you while you search the facility. Good hunting.
Thanks. Keep me posted. Yeah, welcome to Galorndon Core. Bonus points if you remember that particular planet and why and what it looked like over in TNG. Give you a hint. Didn't look like this.
This area is restricted. You need to leave now.
I'm here on behalf of Commander Chulak.
My orders are clear, Romulan. No one is to pass this point until the meeting is concluded. No one, not even Chulak himself.
As you wish. Carry on. So you remember the episode where Geordi and a Romulan end up trapped on this nightmare hell world they can't even beam out of properly because the world is in such terrible shape?
Subcommander, it is my duty to inform you that this area is restricted. Sir.
Not to me, Centurion. Step aside. Now.
Yes, Subcommander. At once. Forgive my rudeness. Access granted. Let me get the door for you.
Thank you. Your service to the Empire has been noted. Sensors indicate an encoded signal of Nakul origin is being beamed to the Doomsday device, coming from the chamber the Nakul were guarding so intently. According to these logs, whenever the Doomsday machine attempts to engage its primary directives, a signal pulse is being beamed into the command core and the machine stops. So in other words, they can't actually control the damn thing. But what they can do is pause it as long as they keep resending the signal to pause it. Step 1 of control. Not too shabby, actually. Centurion. Yeah, I love how I just have an Iconian staff here. Just ignore it.
Subcommander, I've been instructed to grant you access to this facility.
Do you agree with that command, Centurion?
Of course, Subcommander. My family is a friend to the Tal Shiar and loyal to the Empire. Access for you and your team is granted.
Dutiful service to the Empire is always rewarded. Carry on.
The Senate has dispatched an agent from an alien race known as the Nakul. Repugnant creature. but she's of a keen mind and cunning I can appreciate as a Romulan officer. If only her visage wasn't so hideous. She boasts she has a weapon that will turn the tide in favor of Romulus. An old song, to be sure, but she sings it sweetly.
Now, keep it in your pants, boy.
Krog's mysterious backer, the so-called Envoy, has made an impression in the right circles of power. We'll see if he can deliver, however. Data on his miracle weapon is due to arrive soon. Those scars, truly hideous. Krog is practically radiant in comparison. My researchers have analyzed the Nakul weapon data. It matches a report we have on an incident in Federation space involving a doomsday machine. If accurate, this weapon destroyed USS Constellation and nearly rid the cosmos of USS Enterprise. It seems Enterprise's thrice-stamped captain exposed a vulnerability in the weapon. I shall have to address this with Krog upon her return. Krog arrives tomorrow, along with her reportedly improved weapon. I believe the Envoy will be making an appearance as well. It seems it's the season for guests. If my agents are to be believed, we'll be getting a visit from the Tal Shiar very soon. I'm already suffering the witless bureaucrat from the Senate. To endure the serpents of the secret police is nearly too much to ask of a true Romulan.
Well, we've got him on treason. Good to know. How do I play Stellaris? I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I play however I feel like it in the moment. Favorite change to Star Trek canon in this game? Creating the Prime timeline. Did they get Jonathan Frakes? No. Oops, wrong way. I love the old Romulan symbol and how extremely stupid it looks. It does not... Wow! That's 2 times in about 10 minutes someone has asked about Q. That's actually fascinating, really. So, no. You, damn it, Warp Core! No, Q used to be in this, but Q has never been in this. Q is in this every year. Quinn isn't in this either. I'm not trying to get over there. Oh, here we go. Damn it, the doors don't open on their own. I'm so confused by this alien technology of a doorknob. Now, I play a Q, obviously. That's how I, get through all the things I've done. Is Q in the rewrite? Yes. Is Q in the Empire? No. Are the Q depowered in the rewrite? Yes. Are the Nakul ugly? Yes.
Sub-Commander, if this doomsday weapon lives up to the Nakul woman's boasts, it will ensure the Empire's dominance over the entire quadrant. The Federation and the Klingons will have no choice but to bend the knee to Romulus, or face annihilation.
Perhaps. The Tal Shiar does not underestimate our enemies, especially when they're desperate.
Of course. However, even a cornered beast knows when it has lost.
That's not how that works, no. So, Junior Q used to be in the game in a quest, which has since been ejected. To my knowledge, it's QQ, John Delancey Q, who's the one at the Winter Wonderland, but I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that.
Greetings, Sub-Commander. I knew it was only a matter of time before the fabled Tal Shiar came to call. The Nakul have brought a glorious weapon to your empire. You won't be disappointed. I can assure you.
Wow, you are just as ugly as he said you were.
This one shall, Sub-Commander. beyond measure.
Huh. I'm almost curious when they say that it's Q. Lowercase q.
Your attention, please. Let's begin, shall we?
By all means.
We thank Specialist Krog of Nakul for joining us. We have concerns about the dangers involved with this weapon.
You have nothing to fear from the machine, my friend.
Archer?
Would you be so confident if you were here, Envoy?
Utterly so, Commander. Soon, the Doomsday Machine will bring our foes to their knees.
Bold words, Envoy. We shall see, won't we?
It would seem a demonstration is in order. See to it, Krog.
As you wish. Shall we, Commander?
Very well. Show me what this beast of yours can do.
It will be my pleasure.
Enjoy the show, interloper. They are using holographic disguises. Guards, deal with them.
I suppose we can talk about this. Well, I guess I'll just murder all of you then. How do you feel about portals to the sun? Yeah, this mission can actually get mean. There are a lot of Romulans in between you and your goal, and I mean like several dozen. And this game isn't really built for mass combat. So, I've talked about this before. One of the things they were experimenting with is they wanted to try and challenge the player in ground combat. You know, obviously, I think that's how most game designers work. They want to have an obstacle that you overcome. That's part of the gameplay. Problem is, this game's ground combat is this game's ground combat. So one of the ideas they had was, why don't we just throw tons and tons and tons of numbers at the player? With enough damage coming from enough sources, it'll eventually overwhelm them. They were right. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, well, it's a little more debatable. So yeah, if you have a build that doesn't have any proper AoE, several of these sections can suck. That was also true in the previous arc, when we were fighting the dozens upon dozens of heralds. And let's just say that when we get to the Gamma Quadrant arc, there's going to be dozens and dozens of enemies there, too. So, like, don't worry too much about it. It's fine, it's fine. No silly idea. I did, however, gun down a lot of enemy soldiers. Yeah, I should probably mention that the wave after wave of enemies thing is something they've never actually stopped doing. As recently as the most recent quests. I love the fact that my pets outside are killing them while I do all this stuff. You can haul, but they can follow you and they could certainly kill you. And yet, ground is best served when it's either not being combat focused or is snippets, like you were saying.
We're trying to get our computer to interface with that Nakul control console, but their tech is quite advanced. I need at least 5 minutes to integrate it.
You've got 2.
Your uninvited guests will make a fine target for the weapon, Chulak.
Any day now. So this is the first time we fought Nakul. Nakul suck. I know I've said that for almost every single new enemy ever, but Nakul suck.
The Doomsday Machine is about to open fire!
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Nice dodge. Keep it up.
I'm over... Okay. The Vodwar are far more annoying. And depending on your build, the next, depending how you define it, major enemy is much more irritating. Yeah, we did that arc Saturday.
We need to move.
That does not look like that's targeting me, buddy. Why is there a Klingon cruiser here? Oh, never mind. That's a Romulan cruiser. My bad.
That was close. Almost got this console working.
I would say no, silly idea. There's also not that many inherently energy beings, although there are quite a few magical beings. But that mostly just allows them to bypass physics in a few specific ways. Nothing too fancy. Tygians wouldn't even be able to stand upright if not for the fact that they're mostly magical. Frenoi, well, we don't talk about them.
The console is ready. Get close to the Doomsday Machine so we can transmit the control codes.
I disagree with that. Do you see the angle that thing hit me at?
Activating shutdown protocol. Now.
And you go.
Something is wrong. It's not working.
Yeah, we're probably going to get copy wronged for that, consequently.
Firing indiscriminately.
Enough! It's only a matter of time before that thing destroys the planet! All ships, destroy the Doomsday Weapon and the cool ships! Now!
So, real quick, someone in chat, define Cold War for me. Not the Cold War, just a Cold War.
At last. You'll regret this, Chulok.
Romulan attack wing! Fire torpedoes into that thing's maw! All ships, protect the planet from that machine at all costs!
I'm afraid not, Yada, for there are no interesting people within the Extant. After all, I wrote them. Yes, an influence war primarily focused around interacting through the other side via proxies. So, what do you think of, and I'm not being facetious here, what do you think of when you think temporal Cold War?
Yes, the Nakul ship is about to be food for the beast. That should end it. Wait! What's happening?
So you remember how I mentioned,
It's on a collision course! No! No!
just how messed up Galorndon Core was? Have you ever wondered why? Well, that's why Galorndon Core is a mess in TNG's era. Yeah, our bad. Sorry.
I don't know who you are, and I don't care. You helped us with the traitorous Nakul, and that earned you a reprieve. For now. Leave while you still can. I won't ask twice.
As you wish, traitor. Get me out of here.
The Nakul ship must have detonated within the Doomsday Machine. Disrupted it somehow. This must feel like a Pyrrhic victory at best, too.
What's going on with your face, Daniels?
An occupational